ask you a question. Is that scripture right or is it wrong?
What? Sorry, can you repeat the scripture?
It
Trench
says,
though.
"He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him." That's First John chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, if you don't keep the commandments, you don't know God.
Okay, I mean, well, the thing about me is this: I don't just take. You cannot just tell me one verse and then tell me if it's the truth or not. I need to read the Bible. The thing about the Bible is I'm learning it as I'm learning is you can read one part of the Bible, and once you get to a different part, it makes more sense. So you can't just tell me a little part of the Bible.
Okay,
So
I
What's
read
hard?
that.
What's hard to understand about that?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly.
now I would need to read the whole chapter or something. That's how I learn.
Of course,
That's
of
that's how I
course.
That's
that's how I.
Christianity. Whenever Christians,
Hey,
whenever so-called Christians get hit with a scripture, they say, "Well, I need to read the whole verse," and it's like, well, after you read the whole chapter, it's not going to change what that scripture just said, and it's going to show that. It's just like to say, if I ask you if you love God, you would probably say, "Yeah, I love God." But if we go to Second John chapter 6, we
And
would
they never,
find out.
and they never, and they never want to read the whole chapter for John 3:16.
Never read
Well,
the whole chapter for John three
like I
sixteen.
said, I'm that type of learner, man.
hey,
So
hey, bro. So why don't you say, y'all right? I don't know God, man. Won't y'all show me who God is? Won't y'all show me? You know what I'm saying?
because I
Hold on. So why don't you say, won't y'all
I
show
mean,
me
that's
what
not.
y'all
I
know?
mean, clearly that's not
Hey,
the argument. He's not
hey, hey,
apologetic.
Hey,
hey,
so
bro.
hold on, Reg. We got order in this
Yeah,
room,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
We
yeah.
don't
Hold on.
just come in and just speak up and just be out of order. We actually
All right,
follow what the Bible says.
right. So, bro, why don't you be like, just humble down, swallow your pride, and be like, hey, show me who I am in the Bible, so I would know God. Because ain't no way you
because
gonna know God. Hold on. Ain't no way you gonna know God if you don't even know who you are. See, cause Judd
okay,
asked you some
all right.
questions. Hold on, bro. Let me speak right quick. It's my first time speaking. Let me get what I got to say. I'm to speak. So Judd asked you, did you keep the Passover? All right, first is that give me First Peter 2:21. All right, right quick. I believe that's what it is. I'm shooting from the hip. But hey, Judd asked you, did you keep the Passover? And you ran around it. You just said, no, man. What is the Passover?
That's how you
I didn't know.
feel.
I didn't know I had.
No, we ain't trying to destroy you, bro. We already told you that. We ain't coming at you with no malice and no hatred. We
That's
just
not what
trying to
I'm
just.
saying. You put in words in my mouth.
No, you just said that. You literally just said it,
I
bro.
said I'm learning. I
You
admitted
said.
I'm
You
learning.
said.
Yo, listen.
No.
Listen.
Listen.
I said I'm
Chill.
learning. I
Chill.
already
World has said that we nothing. But that tribe, the tribe of Judah that's in America, is the tribe that's gonna conquer this whole planet Earth.
Hey,
And I know.
hey,
Go ahead.
Dion. They feel that way, but when they come to America, they sure do enjoy them damn freedoms that them African Americans gave them.
Yep, absolutely. And that wicked ass culture. They come over here and use that wicked ass culture. Same thing, man. It's crazy. All right, JB, go ahead, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, y'all continue to share the room. Hashtag, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. If you want to email us, you can always get us at biblicalsmoke@gmail.com. All right, follow the moderators and the room. That we can always stay tuned to what we got. All right, next up on the stage, we got yeah, help me out, bro. Ja Selassie. I think I said it right.
Yeah, peace. What's going on?
What's happening with you, bro? What you got on the topic? What's worse, Christians or drug dealers?
Man, y'all got a banging title with that because that's gonna catch some eyes. Uh, I'm gonna go with Christians though, and the reason I say that is just because, man, with a drug dealer, you know what it is. Whereas Christianity, it's like, yo, we got this, and it's supposed to be good, but it'll mess you up. So for that reason, I'm gonna say Christianity, just because of I don't want to call it deception. That's a strong word, but And when you look at it from that perspective, just what am I getting out of this? If I go to buy some drugs, I already know what I'm getting. But if I go to the church, if I'm going to Christianity, I'm looking for something that's supposed to improve me, clean me up, whatever, however you want to word it. But then it might not necessarily be that, especially the way it's taught, etc. nowadays.
Bro, for real, how you take 2 shots like that?
You still there? That was it?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the answer to the question,
Okay.
the topic at hand, that's how I feel about that.
All right. Any moderators want to touch on what he has said?
Hey, yeah. How you doing, fellas?
Yeah, hold on, DJ. Hold
Yeah,
on.
nah, I mean, what he said was on point. I mean, he said it was on point. I mean, Christianity is, yeah, I like how he said you just don't know what you're gonna get. You really don't know what you're gonna get when you deal with Christianity. Like the brother Phil that was just up here, he started off saying one thing, and then, when we held him to his own words, he just started, changing up. He was like, well, you strive for this. Well, you try this. Nobody's perfect. Well, this, that, so you never know what you're going to get with dealing with Christianity. A drug dealer, you're going to get, you're going to get drugs. You might buy weed and get fentanyl, but at the same time, we all know drugs destroy our systems. We do it anyway because it makes us feel good. So, Christianity is almost the same way. People know, the brother Phil know that, what he believe in is it's kind of BS, because he don't even follow it, So, hey, the brother Jai was on point.
Hey, can we get Deuteronomy 28:64 real quick? Just one of the curses God put on his chosen people, the Israelites, for breaking his commandments. Watch what it says.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So the Father of heaven and earth gave a decree that if the Israelites broke his commandments, that they would be scattered amongst all people, meaning they would go into slavery. Because you're scattered through slave trade, right? Trans-Saharan or sub-Saharan slave trade, various slave trades you've seen the Israelites scattered in, right? The conquest of the Americas, colonization, so on and so forth. So during these slave trades, the slave master disconnected us from our God and he taught us his form of religion or his God. The wood symbolizes Christianity. That's the symbol, all right, for Christianity. It's the wooden cross. The symbol for Islam is the cobblestone, all right? That's what the Bible is prophesying about. Moses prophesied about this thousands of years before it actually happened. And it happened exactly like he said it would because it was divine. It came from God. So now God gives us some of the attributes of the things that will be going on when we started worshiping these other gods and these other religions. I'm gonna just show you a couple. Go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 real quick. Read verse 27. So this is what God says about serving wood and stone, serving idols and not the one true God, which Christianity teaches you to serve an idol. And watch what comes with that. Read that for me.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 27. For the worshipping of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
So when you worship an idol, it's the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. You want to know why majority of our brethren that are in prison are Christian or grew up Christian? You want to know why majority of our brothers and sisters that's living that homosexual or transgender lifestyle grew up as Christian? You understand? Why many of our brothers that are murderers grew up as Christian, drug dealers, they all grew up as Christian. They all have a common denominator, right? And it's Christianity. It's that false uh, idol of of Cesar Borgia, which you think is Jesus Christ. That false Caucasian image they gave us with the white angels around him, right? And the white God. Like that's none of that is real. And from that stems evil. That's what the Bible is talking about. And then it talks about some of the things that you will do once you start to worship these idols. Read verse 23.
Verse 23. For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices.
Stop. We're going to break it down. While they slew their children in sacrifices. In ancient times, they used to sacrifice the children after they were born to an idol god called Molech. They would have sex with another man that's not their husband, get pregnant, and then 9 months later, when the baby was born, they would kill the baby and sacrifice that child to Molech. When they would have their ancient orgies like Saturnalia, Lupercalia, these different orgy-filled holidays that they were holidays that they would worship. But nowadays, a woman just get pregnant and go to the abortion clinic, and then she'll ask God for forgiveness immediately after. And then a couple of years later, she'll do the same thing. We're still doing the same thing that we did in ancient times when we served those idol gods. Now in 2023, our people are doing the same. One sister, a rapper, once she twerking in front of the Plan B, once she twerking in front of the Planned Parenthood, like just last year, like I saw a Facebook post. A sister said it's crazy that today I'm 6 weeks pregnant, but tomorrow I'll be no weeks pregnant. She was making fun of the fact that she was about to go get an abortion, and guess what? She's a Christian. She got Christian quotes all over her Facebook page. So Christianity is the root of evil in today's time. So they slew their children in sacrifices. And go ahead.
Or used secret ceremonies.
Most of the people that are involved in the Divine Nine, as they call it, or in sororities or fraternities, they do these secret ceremonies, these hazing rituals. But they Christian. They grew up in the Christian church. Go ahead.
Or made revelings of strange rites.
It said make revelings of strange rites. You got your freak meet that they have down in Atlanta. You got your Mardi Gras that they had just going on in Louisiana. Women getting butt ass naked. They got the what they call that down in the islands, Bacchanal. You understand? Carnival. Woman get pregnant at Carnival. They call it Carnival baby, and then that baby get the daddy take care of that baby for 21 years and find out it ain't his. 21 years later, it was a Carnival baby for 86. Like, come on, man. But guess what they all have in common? Christian. Go ahead.
They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled.
They don't keep their lives or their marriages any more undefiled, eating pork, shrimp, lobster, and they're using the word of God to say it's clean now. They don't keep their marriages any longer undefiled, cheating on their wife, cheating on their husband, bringing another woman into their bed, having threesomes, a woman getting cheated on her whole marriage with her husband. So she finally give in and let him have a threesome with her and some random stripper or some random whore off the street, because she feels subjected to do so she can keep her husband because she know he gonna cheat anyway. Like, this is the type of crap that go on in Christian marriages. Christian marriages end up in divorce more than any other religion. You didn't know that, did you?
But God also said in the Bible, don't put your
I ain't
trust
done.
in man or woman because
I
they'll
ain't
let you
done.
down.
I ain't done. Thank you. Go ahead.
But either one slew another traitorously, or grieved him by adultery.
How many times you hear stories of men catching their wives cheating and killing her and the man she cheating with? Vice versa. That's because of Christianity. Go ahead.
So that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind,
What the Bible
dis-
say?
changing of kind.
One day you're Zion, the next day you Zaya. One day you got a rod, the next day you cutting your rod off and opening it up and trying to turn it into a vagina until that vagina closes, because your body is natural to close up a womb, and you got to keep getting it recut. Yeah, that's wickedness. Changing of kind. Want to be a woman when you were born a man. That's wickedness. That stems from Christians. Most of these people grew up in the Christian church. Go ahead.
Disorder in marriages.
Woman
Uh,
ruling over her man. Some of you brothers simps. You let your wife rule over you. She tell you what to do. She control you with that vagina. And you just let her do it. Let her talk any kind of way, wear anything. Before she leave to go to work every morning, she look back at it in the mirror, go look good for her work husband. Then she come home and you feeling all bad because she been out all night. You a simp. But guess what? You a Christian too. Go ahead.
Damn.
Adultery and,
Adultery.
and shameless uncleanness.
And some of you sisters ain't even shamed to look unclean. Some of you have sex with men on your menstrual. I seen a video of that woman gonna say, she said this in front of thousands of people, y'all. She got up on stage and said, I think men should consider having more sex with women on their menstrual. That's the dumbest
Yeah,
thing
I
I ever
saw
heard.
that.
Damn.
That's Christians. Christians do stuff like that. Go
That's
ahead,
Wow.
Mike.
sick, dog. That's not Christian.
You can say it's not Christian, but Christians do it.
Yeah, damn straight. Yeah, Dion, you had some more on that. You all good.
I'm all good.
All right, all right. Hey, let's go ahead and continue on. So we got Chris, then we got DJ. Let's see. We're gonna continue on from there. All right. So Chris, go ahead. What you got on the topic, man? What's worse, Christians or drug dealers? What you got?
Um, for me, it's kind of like it's almost like even because on one hand, if you take general Christianity, it really mess a lot of people up, you know, because a lot of our people is deceived. On the other hand, I do gotta say, when it comes to certain Christians, they a lot closer to the truth as far as studying the word and everything. So like whenever they get confronted with um, you know, uh, Deuteronomy 28 or something, you know, that like they're more willing to study. So on that term, you know what I'm saying, I'd rather be a Christian than a drug dealer as far as, you know, when I'm confronted with the Bible, I'm a bit more receptive than somebody that's just, you know, straight up not a Christian or somebody that don't believe the Bible at all. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it. And yeah, man, shout out to Captain Gedaliah, man. I've been learning a lot over the past 6, 7 months just watching those videos online. So man, much props, man. Much respect.
Hey, I wanted to comment on what the brother said. All praise to the Most High God. So the brother was talking about how you know, you rather be at least close to the Bible in some way, shape, or form. Like if you, a lot of our brothers in Christianity, they do read the Bible. You know what I mean? And there's some brothers in Christianity. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Some of them know some scriptures. You know what I mean? The issue is, do we live it? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of people I know that can quote scriptures and they be on point with the scriptures that they quote. But when you examine their lives, they're not doing what the Bible is saying. That's why it's very, very important from when you're learning from someone, you examine what they're doing. You know what I mean? You know them by their fruits. But I just want to be my mind. I just want to say that.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. It's like when I start hearing you do the what's it called? Escaping Plantation 2.0. A lot of these scriptures I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? But because I always had a high regard for the Bible, I was like, you know, I'm gonna have to look into these scriptures. And I started digging into these scriptures. I started realizing like, yo, a lot of these things he's saying is actually, you know, it's actually the truth. So, you know, that's why I started digging because I already had that respect for the Bible beforehand. So, you know, I really appreciate that, man. That's why I'm just out here learning, trying to learn some more and more, trying to dig deeper into the history, into the, you know, into the scriptures. And I did have one question, if that was okay. I had one question. I don't know if it's inappropriate to ask some, or, you know, I don't know how y'all handle the show. Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
my question would be, you know, you Cap mentioned the brother from Nigeria, um, and I seen a lot of videos of Cap being in Ghana and everything, like really breaking down the word over there, confounding a lot of people out there, man. It was crazy. But I was just wondering, from what, you know, since when did you know, the IUIC or like the Israelites in general start recognizing the brothers and sisters from West Africa as part of us. Because you know, I remember way back in the day, I used to see videos where a lot
You said
of
when?
other Yeah, like from what year? Because I used to see a lot of videos back in the day where other Israelite communities would be a little hostile to our brothers and sisters from the motherland. So I just wanted to know, when that transition came about.
It was a while ago, man. It was a while ago. The more understanding the scriptures came out that we were scattered all throughout the world, and it's not just in America, but then there was also in Africa and then other places. Some of us in India, the islands. So once the understanding, or once the understanding starts to get up to a certain level, then that's when it started to come out, man. But time and date, it was a little while ago. All right,
All
but
right, all right.
hey, Chris, I appreciate you, bro. We'll go ahead and move
Thanks a
on to
lot,
the
man.
next person on the stage. All right.
Most High in Christ bliss.
All right, DJ, you need your mic before, man. What you got?
Shalom, shalom, Ox. Um, the question saying um, if Christians are worse than drug dealers. Well, yeah, it was a resounding, yeah, we all know, Christians, of course, are worse. But what I would say more specifically, I wouldn't even so much blame the Christians as I would blame the preachers or the pastors. Those are the real ones that's worse than drug dealers because what they selling is worse than drugs. You feel me? And they're the ones influencing these folks. They're the ones that's charming these folks into believing into like it's almost like they hypnotize the people. You know what I mean? Like these people know they're chatting gibberish when they're doing the whole shalama shalama shanta and all that other, you know what I mean, quote unquote speaking in tongues. Like you speaking gibberish. What are you doing? You know what I mean? And then they're competing with each other, and it's like the pastors is put. This is like, and then we all know the pastors. You know what I mean? The white ones are trying to touch on your kids. The black ones is trying to touch on your wife. It's like it's just so much corrupt, but yet we still, you know what I mean? Like we still go there. Like if you look in some of the most impoverished neighborhoods, they got the most churches, and you're like, what are y'all doing with the money? You know what I mean? Like there's some, at least drug dealers sometimes give back. You feel me? Like the churches, like they might get maybe some old food they get from certain supermarkets
Damn.
throwing away. A lot of supermarkets throw away like produce or produce that's close to the due date to be thrown away. They'll give them what some of these churches will grab them. That's what they'll be giving away. Like they really spent money. Like how are you gonna get a blessing by giving away trash? You're not supposed to be giving away something that you don't want.
Hey,
There's no.
look. Hey, look. I was talking to a brother today, and he said he was at his mom's house, and the church that she go to, they bring them food, and what they do, they bring them that, that government food, and they said one of the cans is just it's a can with a white label, with a picture of
Mm-hmm.
a pig, and it
Or a
just say
pig on
pork.
it or something. Mm-hmm.
It just say pork. So they just give them pork in a can. And the brother asks, he's like, man, why y'all, the Bible against eating pork? Why y'all sending this stuff to people, especially, people that's already got, health problems as it is? Why
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
just send this? He was just like, oh man, you just gotta pray over it. And then he just got up out of there. He was like, look, I gotta go. Pew. So you're
Wow,
right.
that's scary, man. That's scary because them Chiquina worms don't care about no prayers. Feel me? Them
Hey,
Chiquina
hey,
worms.
brother D. You know what's crazy too is because of the Christian church and the pastors why the drug dealers are allowed to flourish in our black neighborhoods also.
Damn.
Because yeah, they teach that there's no law. The laws of God are done away with, so you don't have to do anything. You understand? You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to have any morals. You don't have to have any integrity. You don't even have to have love for your own people. That's what Christianity teaches us through their philosophy on God. You understand? They don't go by the Bible. They go by feelings and what the white man has taught them in theology schools. So if you look at it, everyone is allowed to do whatever the hell they want in the black community. They're allowed to sell drugs. They're allowed to have baby mamas and baby daddies. They're allowed to be whores and whoremongers. The black church is not correcting none of this. You understand? They don't correct none of this. Then our neighborhoods look like hell on earth. But like you said, what is the nicest building on the block in the ghetto? The big
Church.
ass black church. The lawn is nicely cut. You understand? They got the beautiful stained glass windows, white Jesus, all flourishing in there. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So 6 days out of the week, excuse me, 7 days out of the week, you be wicked as hell. But then you go in the church on Sunday and act holier than thou. Doesn't make no sense. It's a hell of a witchcraft, my brother. Mute my mic.
And you know what's so funny too? We know that these pastors are so wicked that we have it on TV and we just laugh about it. And it's like one of my favorite shows growing up was Everybody Hates Chris. I don't know if y'all remember the pastor from Everybody Hates Chris. Every time they saw the pastor, he was going upstairs with somebody's
Oh,
wife who
yes,
husband
yes.
just passed away. And his famous words was, "It was tragic, tragic."
No,
So he
no,
did.
no. He was the funeral. Was he the funeral director or or was he a pastor?
I think he was a
Yeah,
But
pastor.
I know
yeah, he
what you
was a
saw. It
pastor.
was Raj from What's Happening.
Yeah, he was a funeral director.
Oh,
Yeah,
he was a funeral
same
director.
thing. It's still Christianity. Same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, you feel me? It's all the same. Exactly. You feel me? So it's like, and let me go a little deep into how you did say yes, they do could produce drug dealers, and I think I can break down how that happens. See, you realize in the church the percentage of men, the ratio of men to women are completely off. You realize there's a lot more women in church than there are men. That's because psychologically women are more susceptible to manipulation than men are. You understand? That's why a lot of times people can compare pimp to a pastor because their control, their wordplay, their mental control over the females is similar. All the women in the church want that pastor. All of them, whether they want to tell you or not. Feel me? They all want they more submit to that pastor than they do to their husband. Feel me? So it's like it's weird. You know what I mean? It's really off in there. You know what I mean? And it's like the way that it's mostly women in there, then those same women who have, unfortunately, because of society and other contributing factors, become now single parent mothers. The sons coming out of that are susceptible to 100% of their teachings. Feel me? Because that's mama, and it's always mama's boy, daddy's little girl, and so it's like dad's not there, so the pastor becomes dad. And for the son, the mom is the main teacher. So, and a lot of time we all know women are not evil, but they are attracted to evil. You feel
She
me? So it's it they
Shit.
the
Cap. That's cap.
hold on, hold on, cuz. Right? So boom, when the son starts to show signs of a lot of times of like streetism, it's sometimes encouraged instead of frowned upon. You understand? So then they start to hit the streets, they start to sell drugs. They're not disciplined by the moms because low key that's admired. Moms feel safe around that kind of person. You understand? She did when she was younger, now she does older.
cause she
um,
evil.
you understand? So it's like it's a lot of psychological. A lot of women turn their kids into their man, like it's weird. You know what I
Right,
mean?
cause they evil.
Yeah, I wouldn't say women are evil. I say they're more like kids. You feel me? They're very curious and they're very susceptible to excitement and things that are
Cause they're
bright and
evil.
colorful and bright and you know what I mean. It's just like whenever like you see how they advertising these tobacco products for kids and these liquor products for kids because
D
they're no longer making them in these
D
gray or black containers. They're making them in these
D
bright and
D.
sparkly. Yeah, I'm hearing you, man. I know you're saying that they're
They're
evil, but I don't say
they're
they
evil, bro.
because they come from us, bro. They come
The
from us.
Bible say it. The Bible say that.
Nah, but the Bible said they come from us too.
That ain't got nothing to do with what the Bible saying they wicked.
Uh
Man, we
man,
can't go.
I
Go to
don't know because then why would
Ecclesiastes.
God make a wicked mate for us? That don't make sense.
Ecclesiastes 7:26. They need us to check them. Without us, they wicked.
They they
Ecclesiastes
they
7:26. I'm
they
read the
lost
Bible.
leadership. They're like kids,
I'm
bro.
gonna read the
Like,
Bible.
would you let a
The
if
book
you
of
let a kid?
Ecclesiastes.
I'm
chapter
reading
What
the Bible
happened?
7
to
and
you.
verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her.
Go ahead.
Behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found.
So King Solomon, the wisest man ever, said he ain't found one of a woman because a woman got to be guided and led by her man. She can't be left to herself. She wasn't meant to be by herself. She was meant to be with a man. Her name, woman, means from man. She wasn't meant to be alone or be with amongst other women.
So,
So
brother, same thing.
without us giving them the scriptures, guiding them in the scriptures, correcting them, they are evil. They need a guide. They're not meant to be by themselves.
Man, you saying the exact same thing I just said. I said they're like kids. You can't leave them alone. You leave kids in the house by themselves,
But
them
I'm showing
rabbits
you they're
gonna have you, bro.
inherently. But I'm showing
They
you
need leadership
they're
and
inherently evil.
capable of good.
They're inherently evil.
Oh man, I don't want to write them off like that, man.
I ain't writing them off. Yeah, we all married up here. We're not writing them off, but I'm just telling you what the Bible says. The Bible said that's what sin started. It started with the woman. Just the Rock 25. It tell you that.
All right, so
Read the
The book
scripture
of
real quick.
Yes, sir. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25 and verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die.
You hear that? So the Bible said of the woman becomes the beginning of sin, and through her we all die because the first sin came from the woman. Adam knew what he was supposed to do, and he taught her. She disobeyed him and went after Satan because in her, deep down inside of her, she envied him and wanted to be equal to him. When Satan presented her an opportunity to fulfill that lust, she went after it. And then she influenced him to go after it. I'm just telling you what the Bible says. You ain't got to say, hey man, bro, you doing this. No, I'm just telling you what the scriptures say. The Bible says they need to be guided. Watch the next verse. Watch what it say.
Verse 25. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad.
So the Bible say, get a water no passage. Because that water gonna try to pass by. She gonna try you. And you got to show her the scriptures. You got to check her with the word of God. Like, nah, that's not what we doing here. We gonna follow the scriptures. The Bible say, mistress women bring forth monsters. What you were just saying. A lot of the incarcerated men, a lot of the men that grow up in the single parent household led by a woman, they grow up with a tough life. They grew up destroyed because she's not meant to lead them. She's meant to be led by the scriptures. Without that, she gonna do evil. She needs a man.
So, what's the difference between a man without guidance? Isn't he not prone to evil?
We're not talking about the man. We're
Hold
talking
on,
about the woman.
wait. I'll let you talk, cuz. Hold on, wait. All right.
Stop
Right?
with that.
If all right,
Listen.
hold on, wait.
Hold
If
on.
Most
Listen.
High did not give us the commandments to guide us, would not we not be prone to evil?
That don't make it. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, no,
That don't matter.
yes, no.
That's irrelevant.
Right? If it matters, no,
Now you sound like a Captain Save 'em
nah.
because
'Cause
that's
I trust
irrelevant. Because
me.
we
I
know we
grew
need.
up.
No, that's
Trust
what
me.
we need. We need. Hold
I
on.
grew up
Stop.
around pimping. It is
Hold
far,
on.
far from that.
Ecclesiastes. Hold on. Ecclesiastes 12:13. Because that's it. That's an irrelevant topic, and you're moving the goalposts. You saying, oh, well, if the man didn't have the commandments, wouldn't he be inherently evil? Every person on this earth in the flesh will be inherently evil, but God gave the man the commandments so that he can guide the earth. Man went away from it because of his own desire, but the woman was meant to follow us and follow us only. You understand? By herself, she is also, and foremost, the Bible says there's no wickedness like the wickedness of a woman, meaning her evil is on another level from
Yeah.
ours. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Read the script.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
So our whole duty was to keep God's commandments. So to say, well, if a man didn't have the commandments, wouldn't he be off? Yeah, of course. Because we needed the commandment. That's what God gave it to us for. But we were meant to lead, and the one was meant to follow.
You know it's crazy. I want you to be real mindful, man. The way you sound is like, hey, if women hear you sound like that, you'll be getting taken advantage of, bruh. Just be
Right.
mindful, right? Because they look for brothers like that
Uh,
where they could where they could take advantage of you. You know, you think they God's gift God's gift to the whole planet Earth, and you treat them as such. When you do that, they will take advantage of you, bruh. Just be mindful.
don't say she don't wanna be say.
I wanna be saved.
Hey, my turn yet?
Hey, man, I've been waiting all day.
Man, y'all
Hey,
niggas some women bashers,
hey,
That nigga right there,
bro.
simp.
Hey, man, let's stop playing.
Hey,
you
hey,
hear
Man,
yo,
that,
nigga,
little
hey,
I'm
baby?
sitting.
Hey, hold on. Let me see.
hey,
Let's do a survey. Judd, you married?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you married?
Yes, sir.
Benjamin, you married?
yes, sir.
Man, ain't nobody bashing women up here. We just ain't no simps. We run our household. Our wives follow us. We the leaders of the
Hey, you
house.
know
We
what's
don't give
crazy?
them. We don't give them more power than God gave them. You man give them more power than God gave them. Y'all the simps. Y'all not even walking in the divine order that God created you in, where He said the woman's supposed to be your helper and you supposed to lead her and she is supposed to seek after you. Get it in Genesis 3:16 for him.
Hey,
Get
hey,
it in
hey, hey,
3:16.
Z,
Go
It's
ahead,
Z,
gonna
Benjamin.
be my turn, man.
hey, Z. Why you getting that? You know what's
Jeremiah, you next.
crazy too? These are the type of brothers that's getting on us for correcting sisters. They get chest bumped by they women. They women put their
Mm-hmm.
two fingers in their forehead and
Damn,
sunning them straight up
damn.
and down.
Yeah.
Y'all brothers be getting sunned by y'all women. Y'all women talk to y'all like y'all ain't shit, and y'all getting mad at
Man, shut
us.
the fuck up,
No,
nigga. Y'all
Hey,
that's
niggas
hey,
you
be
now
niggas.
look,
mad.
now
You
he
Make
mad
niggas
at
these
are some
He
us.
get
simps,
nigga
Now
he
man.
he
fuck.
get
mad at
punked by his
us.
wife. That's why he mad. He
Hey,
get punked by his
hey,
wife.
Matthew, why you mad? Why you mad? Because it's the truth. You niggas get sunned by y'all women, man. That is the straight up and down facts. She come in the house, you give her hand, her the damn remote. I mean, you put the damn head covering on. You
Hey,
put the head
Benjamin,
covering on, go do the damn laundry, man.
Benjamin,
There's only two
Benjamin.
ways to
They
know a
they
person: you
uh
live with them or you deal with them, bro.
they don't even take their man's last name when they get married to him. They still
Right,
keep their daddy's name.
right. Good, Z.
Damn. Read that Genesis 3:16 real quick.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
So I was talking to my wife a while ago, and I let her know this is how real the Bible is. The Bible's a true book. Science can't even explain why a woman has a menstrual once a month for 7 days exactly. No other source on the earth tells you where that comes from and why. It's the Bible that tells you where it came from. They don't know the origin of it. Ain't no Big Bang Theory. Ain't no damn evolved from monkeys. Shit, none of that stuff works when you ask them why y'all ass bleed once a month. You got to go to the Bible for that. God tell you why. I'ma multiply your pain and sorrow for what you did. Keep reading.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband.
You see that, brother? That's the divine role of a woman. Her desires to be to you, and to tell you the truth, most women want that. They want to be led by their man and their desire to be unto him. But some of you dudes is straight simps.
Hey, Z. Can we ask the sisters just a yes or no? We not a long
Go
soliloquy.
ahead.
Hey, sister, can y'all unmute y'all mic and let the men, let everybody on the platform know? Do you want to be led by your man or do you want to lead your man?
Yes.
We got Michelle, Nikki Mack, Daphne,
Rebecca,
Rebecca. Can y'all unmute y'all mic and say do you?
Definitely led.
Oh, okay. Michelle
yeah.
says. Nikki Mack says
Definitely.
okay. So the women have
Shalom. Who
spoken.
wants to be led?
Okay, the women have spoken. They want to be led. But you soft ass, simp ass niggas, guess what? You've been raised by your mama. And you know all you know is being led by a woman. You gotta fight that damn spirit, brothers.
Yeah, man.
Fight that spirit. You're supposed to be a leader, a man. When you're led by your woman will not respect you, brothers.
Nope.
She's not gonna respect you. She's gonna pat you on your head, tell you whatever, and disrespect you to her family and her friends, and
Right.
talk behind your back about you.
Mm.
That's what happens when you being led by women. If
Stand
I could
up,
get one
man.
script,
Her
First
desire is
Corinthians,
supposed to be to you. Go ahead,
right?
Benjamin.
1 Corinthians 11 and verse 8. Read that real quick, because this is a simp. If you are a natural simp, you're gonna hate this scripture. But here's what you should do. Let's start applying it. Watch what the Bible says. This is a feminist, simp, anti-simp scripture right here. Read that.
The book of First Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 8. For the man is not of the woman.
What did God say?
For the man is not of the woman,
Read.
but the woman of the man.
No. Go to verse 7. Start at verse 7.
Verse
That's what I
7.
want.
For a man indeed ought not to cover his head,
Uh-huh.
for as much as he is the image and glory of God.
Uh-huh.
But the woman is the glory of the man.
Keep reading.
For the man is not of the woman,
Read.
but the woman of the man.
Because Adam came first, and Eve, the woman, came out of Adam. Read.
Neither was the man created for the woman,
Uh-oh.
but
Whoa. I want all the simps to hear this one right here. Read that line again, nice and strong. This a simp. This is like kryptonite to a simp right here. Read that,
Yes, sir. Neither was the man created for the woman.
brothers. Get it. Listen up, real
Damn.
good. You was not created for the woman. Your job is not to reverence your woman. I know it's painful to hear. Even some sisters, it may be painful for some of you sisters to hear, but guess what? That's what we've been taught in this society here. We've had it ingrained in our damn heads from the 60s and 70s and the 80s and 90s with all the singing and cooning to the woman. You understand? Singing all the R&B songs. That's all in our system now. A couple weeks back, February 14th, all the men started catering to the sisters for Valentine's Day. You understand? But read it again.
Neither was the man created for the woman,
Uh-huh.
but the woman for the man.
Woo! Brothers, get that in your system right there.
That's your system, man. You
Hey,
can't
but
be
Yo,
help
no
me.
simp and be
yeah.
a godly
Hey,
man.
all you simps, get this in your system. That woman that you're with, you was not created for her. She is created for you. Let me rephrase. Your wife, that woman is supposed to be catering to you. She's supposed to be reverencing you, and you are supposed to be reverencing Christ. You understand? That's how it goes, brothers. You
Hey,
understand? You're
Benjamin.
the head. Doesn't mean you're supposed to be an asshole to your woman
Right.
or an abuser to your woman, because I know that's what sisters think. The men are so out of order these days that with what we're saying, they think we're gonna take it. The men are gonna take it as, oh, he's gonna be physically abusing me and punching me in my face, and I can't do nothing. No, that's not what we're saying, sisters. You understand? But we know the black man today, he's a child. You understand? But you also have righteous black men that are not betas and are not simps and are going to teach you the scriptures correctly. You understand? So I'm going to mute my mic on that.
Hey,
So all
get
you
that.
simps, get right.
Get that script in Genesis about how Abraham got down. Hey, a lot y'all, everybody done read before where God called Abraham his friend. He's the only one in the Bible that has that title of being God's friend. Y'all hear that? This is God's friend. Now look why God said that. And this is my friend right here, man. Me and him, we road dogs right here. I'm gonna start the greatest nation on the earth through Abraham because I get down with him. Give me that in Genesis, I believe it's chapter 18.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The book of Genesis, chapter 18 and verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him.
Abraham wasn't no simp. Now I know how Christianity be. They make Abraham sound like some old soft ass old man that was just, barely hanging on by the grace of God, and yeah, he had a baby in his old age. That wasn't Abraham. Y'all remember the scriptures where Abraham, he went to war when they took his nephew Lot. He went to war. He told everybody in his house, "Hey, Annie up, get the swords, let's go." Y'all forget that. That's how Abraham got down. And Abraham wasn't no simp. His children and his wife, everybody in the household was honoring and reverencing Abraham, and he led all of them. He didn't take no back seat. You Negroes of today, you want faith like Abraham, but you don't want to command your house like Abraham. Abraham wasn't no simp. I mean, my mic.
In order for a lady to allow her man to lead, he's got to be a man, though, bro.
Allow.
Like you got guys out here.
What you mean
They
allow?
Hey, say that again. Say that
not
again.
listen, bro.
My
And I don't
time.
want to step on nobody's toe. I don't want to offend nobody. I just been
I didn't even
listening
do nothing.
to everything that's been going on. But I'm a Baptist. That's my belief. That's what I
Be careful
stand
with your
on.
words, though, bro. You said allow. That's dangerous.
No,
When you
I'm just
start
saying
saying
because
stuff like that,
Yeah,
brother,
we saying that
brother,
but I
when you
got
start
to go.
saying,
I was literally next in queue.
bro, when you start saying stuff like allow, you don't understand.
I
When you
think.
say things like that, what you're doing is you're giving the woman a pass. That's what you're doing. You may not mean to do it, but when you start saying stuff like, in order for a woman to allow her man to lead, like, nah, she ain't gotta allow me to do nothing.
Man, that's weak. That's
not
weak as
not
hell,
Yeah,
not
man.
she gon'
speaking on
Hey, that
you,
means she got
just
your
speaking
balls,
in
bruh.
general.
yeah, somebody
Got your
allow me to
balls,
lead.
bruh.
Nah, it's the
Get
divine
your ball
order for me
sack.
to lead. It's the
Listen,
divine
Dion.
order for me to lead. So that's the thing. Like if you talking about dealing with a righteous woman, she gonna understand that off top. But when you dealing with a woman that you gotta allow, I remember a brother told me one time that he told his wife to do something, that he looked at her and said, "How you feel about that?" What? Like, no, you listen, this is what
But
needs to
Dion,
be done. This is something that I need to be fulfilled in my household. And woman, I need you to get this done for me. Ain't no how you feel about that
Hey,
or what
Dion,
you think.
Dion.
I don't.
Hey, Dion. The lion in the jungle don't ask the women in the pack if he's allowed to be the leader. He step on the damn terrain and he take over. He run off whoever the hell he got to and turn around and look at all the women following him like y'all ass gonna follow me, and that's how it's gonna be. He don't ask for permission. Will you
Nah,
allow me to lead all of you in the jungle?
Hey,
Baby,
Man,
please,
come on,
baby,
that
baby,
don't even
please,
sound
please,
right.
baby, please.
hey, in the
hey,
middle of the
hey,
night,
it really,
Want some
it
deep
really,
questions.
in the middle of the
y'all,
night,
y'all allowing
in the
the
little,
enemy,
hold on,
y'all
I said it.
allowing the enemy
Li-
to
nah, ain't
stop
no,
God's word
no.
from coming out.
No, we've been what this brother said God's word and he ain't pulled no scripture. We've been dealing with God's word all night, bro. Stop that. So what I'm saying is, in the middle of
Hey,
the
just
night when some go thump, hold on. In the middle of the night when some go thump or glass break or whatever happened, you ain't asking me, baby, am I allowed to go check to see what that noise is?
Right. She gonna cuss
She
your
looking
ass
like,
out.
what you gonna do? she
Right,
looking at you like, what you finna do? Is you gonna protect us or no? So you ain't asking no permission then. So why would you do that now? Like you got to be
right.
careful with your word. That's all we telling you, bro. Be careful what you say, because the
okay,
Bible says we
fact.
supposed to lead.
You can say that, okay, but at the end of the day, when you're leading your woman, you gotta have everything intact. We all sin come short the glory of God, but as a man, you got to have that faith and believe that Jesus died on the cross and rose on the third day.
What
What
that
does
got to
that got? What
do
does that got to
with
do with
leading
anything
your
we talking
house?
about?
That was so
Hey,
Christian.
No,
the dude
listen,
went
Man,
listen.
straight
I'm
white
t-
Jesus
that
on
was
listen,
us.
so Christian.
listen, bro. Listen.
Hey, you a pastor, bro? You a pastor?
Everybody is entitled to their own belief. We can go
Are
No,
you
we
a
back and
dealing with the
forth
pastor?
Bible, bro.
all night long
Are you a
about it.
Christian?
He said he a Baptist.
I'm a
Oh,
Baptist.
damn. Oh,
So
he
I'm a
needs to
Baptist.
walk right now.
so
And
show me show
I've been
me.
married 9 years. I've been married
Okay,
9 years. And my
okay.
wife is very submissive unto me
I don't believe
because
it.
I do what I'm supposed to
Yeah.
do as a
I don't
man.
believe it.
So
Hey,
so
oh,
does the
Dion, let
Bible
me
say?
ask you a quick question, Dion. Just one quick question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, does your who wears the pants in your house?
I do.
Does your wife wear pants?
She wear tighties and shit like that
That means
sometimes.
yes. So no, you ain't got the power in your house, bro. Go ahead, Dion.
You
All I
can't
was gonna
control
say
a
was this,
woman.
Mister,
That's
Mister,
insecure and
Mister,
just
Mister,
sick,
Mister.
bro.
Let me
You
help
want
you with
your
this.
woman to feel like she's
So
fit to
hold
be
on.
a woman. Just cause
So
y'all married, she ain't gotta run around with,
Mister,
pants on and shit like that. Like she
she
wanna be a
can't dress
woman,
like
bro.
that, Mister. She can't dress like that according to the Bible. You got to put that in order. But what I'm saying is, you made a statement, and I want to show you your statement is false. You said that a man had to have all his stuff together for his wife to submit to him. I want you to go to 1 Peter 3:1. Cause see, a godly woman don't move like that. A godly woman gonna fall into the divine order. Now, I'm not saying that he got y'all homeless and the lights always off because he ain't paying the bills. I ain't talking
There
about
was
that now.
I'm
I'm
saying like a
talking, but
woman ain't finna. A woman is
hold
a
on,
natural
wait a minute, wait
provider.
a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Just relax for a minute. I'm about to read a scripture real quick, bro. So what I'm saying is, we're not saying that a man shouldn't provide or shouldn't have something set up for his family. Obviously not. But that statement you made can be a blanket statement that can be interpreted many different ways. When you start saying allow and you start saying stuff like, oh, he got to have everything together for his woman to be submissive, you giving these women an out to say, well, I don't like the way he got his hair cut. I ain't submitting. I don't like the car he
No,
drive. I
no, no.
ain't
I ain't
submitting.
talking
That's what
about
you.
that.
I'm telling you, bro. It's almost 1,000 people in this room. When you start saying stuff like that, these women be interpreting a certain way. You got to deal with God's word. Now, 1 Peter 3:1 say this.
Book of First Peter, chapter 3 and verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives,
Go ahead.
while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
So the Bible instructs the woman to be in subject to her own husbands, even if he ain't doing 100% everything right according to the Bible. The Bible says she's still supposed to be subject to him, right? And she's supposed to be an example. So I give you an example. A brother can't buy afford a certain I don't know a certain house, or he can't we can't live in a certain side of town right now because I don't make that much. I'm progressing. I'm getting there. My wife's supposed to be content with what I'm able to provide for her. It ain't supposed to be no I'm being disrespected in the household because I don't make $200,000 a year or $500,000 a year. That see, when you start saying stuff like, oh, he got to have his stuff together, that's that feminist move. That feminist movement done made its way into our communities and it's disrupting our marriages. Now, not saying half, 80% of black women in their mid-30s initiate divorce. It's not the men that's leaving the marriage, it's the women that's leaving. Why? Because society has given them an out. Oh, he don't do this, let him go. Or he don't say this, let him go. He don't take you out twice a week, let him go. Like, nah, that ain't the Bible. The
But
Bible say
Dion,
even hold on. The Bible says even if he don't obey the word, meaning he ain't 100% right, he getting there. He on the track to get right. She still got to submit. She still got to stay there. Why? Because she married to him.
But you
She
gotta
can't.
make
She
sure
can't
your
find no
woman.
way to leave.
You
You
got to make
understand
sure
what I'm
your
saying?
woman is spiritually involved and know what you're saying, Dion. It's a lot of women that don't know their role, so they're not gonna do what you're saying. You see what I'm
That's what
saying?
we.
Like,
That's what we teaching. That's why we teaching this. That's why I'm saying
yeah,
you got to be
yep.
careful what you saying.
And the Bible is the most sold book, but the less read book in the world, bro.
What that got to
You
do with
don't
what
read
we
it
talking
either.
about?
And
What does that have
then
to do with
like,
what we talking
okay,
about?
it's so many married men in this room. How many of y'all have not cheated? And be real.
I haven't
What does
cheated.
that have to do?
I
But hold on.
haven't.
And what that
But
got
here's
to
the thing.
hey,
What does that have to do with what we saying right now?
I told you
Like
I
that has
came in
nothing
on
to
the tail
do.
end of it, and I just been listening at little bits and pieces. Like somebody had said something like a woman raised a man, so it this and that. LeBron James' mama raised him by herself, and look
And
at
what
him.
does
LeBron
that
James.
mean?
And what does that mean? What does that mean in the
I'm
realm of
just
God?
saying, like,
We're not talking about worldly riches and fame. We talking about what does that
nah,
mean in the realm of God?
that man been married to that girl since high school, and you ain't
Hey, this
never
dude
heard
And
him
corny
his
as
wife
complain
hell,
walk
about none
around
Dion.
of that.
and
He
his
corny
wife
as hell.
and his wife walk around with blonde hair, jeans on. She leave him go all the way across the world and take pictures of herself half naked and put on her Instagram too. What the hell does that have to do with anything? We talking about the quality of life people living according to God's word. We're
Man,
not
we
talking
all know,
about,
Dion,
hold
it's a
on,
spiritual thing
hold
we
on,
battling
hold
right now.
on, hold on, hold on. We're not talking about the plateau that they reach in this world as far as fame is concerned. We're talking about if they live in a godly life or not. That's what we measuring on here. That's the playing field right here. Because your riches gonna perish with you. Give me that in Acts 8:20. A lot of our people out here rich, raised by single mothers. And what kind of quality of life are they living? Let's see what the Bible say.
The book of Acts, chapter 8 and verse 20. But Peter said unto him, Thy money perish with thee, because thou hast thought that the gift of God may be purchased with money.
That's what a lot of y'all think. That's why when you say you was Baptist, I felt that because I grew up Baptist in the South, Mississippi. I know where you coming from in your mind. I know what your mind frame is. We get it out the mud. We from the South. We trying to grind. And that Baptist religion, that's what it teaches. Because all your pastor talk about is paying your tithes and your season coming. So now it's
Hey,
embedded in
Dion,
us. I ain't
Dion,
done.
my
It's
pastor
inbred, bruh.
is
What
my
the hell?
uncle, and he been married.
We not talking about how long your brother or your uncle been married. We not talking about that. We talking about the fruits, the quality. A lot of people been married 50 years and they been a simp for 50 years. Their wife run them. When she give him
No,
that look to go, he say, "Hey man, I'm gonna holler at y'all brothers. I gotta leave."
no, boy.
That's what
No,
we
my
talking
Hallelujah.
about,
she ain't never worked a net.
bro. Man, I
Hey,
tell you,
Dion,
our
Dion,
people
let's
too.
move on, man. This dude is he don't know what's going on, man.
He a Baptist.
Yeah, he a Baptist,
And I'm going to stand on that.
and he ain't trying to change either.
You gonna die on that
I
too.
know the Lord.
You don't know nothing about
Oh
the Most High.
gosh.
No, you know white Jesus, sir.
Hey, if he knew the Lord, then why when John the Baptist said he must decrease and Christ must
If
increase?
y'all read the Bible so much, it say, judge not, because ye shall be judged.
What I
Ah,
tell
My
you?
gosh.
What
No
I tell
doubt
you?
he a
Christian.
Baptist. That dude, hey, look, he's so much a Baptist, he ain't never even read down to verse 5 of that damn chapter.
Hey, what
And
chapter that's
then,
in?
hey,
What chapter that's in, mister?
y'all
Yeah, what
doing it
chapter
for the
that's in?
clout, man. Do it for the real reason, bro.
No, what chapter is it in? What book and chapter is it in?
What you mean?
Oh
shit.
gosh.
What you quoted? What book and chapter is it in?
I have not studied to show myself approved, but I make
Ah,
study.
Exactly.
Man, shut
So
your
guess
Gosh,
what?
ass up,
man.
man.
Guess
Hey
what? You're
man,
not
move
qualified for
on,
this
man.
conversation, sir. You're not
Hey, Mr.
qualified.
MTM, man, you embarrassing all of the damn Christians and Baptists and black men out here. You don't know how you supposed to run your house. You don't know the damn Bible. You just quoting cliche ass
And what make you
scriptures, and
say
you don't
all
even know
that?
what they
What make you
mean.
say all that,
You don't even
G?
know where they are in the Bible. You better off muting your mic, man. The scriptures say that if you keep your mouth closed, man, people think you're wise.
Hey,
That's I'm gonna
it's a
give you.
wise,
I'm gonna give you some biblical
I'm
knowledge.
surprised to
Hey,
be in the
hey,
room
let's
with
read
that's a
so
that.
many
wise
Let's
saying.
read
perfect
that.
men. All
Let's
y'all
read that.
perfect.
Yes, sir.
Proverbs 17, I think it's 28. Proverbs
Yes, sir.
17,
Bring it
28.
out.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 17 and verse 28. Even a fool, when
Even
he
a
hold,
fool, when he
when
does what?
when he holdeth his peace,
When you shut the hell up. Even a fool, when he's quiet, he's just listening. Read.
is counted wise.
You see that? Even a fool is counted wise when he shuts the hell up. Just listen. Read.
And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding.
Y'all hear that? So you know what's crazy? When you speak to people, you don't know they're idiots until they actually open their mouths, man. Because this is what the Baptist religion, the Methodist religion denomination, the Catholic, this is what happens when you go into Christianity. Your mind is freaking warped. When you open your mouth on here and you listen, it's better you just be quiet. It's better go down back in the box. Go just drop yourself in the box, man, because you make yourself look very foolish. You're gonna
Who
speak
wake
again?
you up
Get
every
get ahead and
morning,
speak. Get ahead and
Benji?
speak. Get ahead and speak. Get ahead and speak.
Who wake you up every morning?
Oh God.
Yeah,
Oh
let's
Man,
move
God.
on.
Christianity, man.
Let's move
Christianity is
Move
a
on.
hell of
on,
a drug,
man.
y'all.
Move on to the
Hey,
Move
let's
on,
move
Lord,
on.
man.
man.
I bet you'll say alarm clock.
Golly.
Hey,
Man, what the heck? Drop it, man. Drop. I'm sorry. I gotta drop it,
Move
bro. I gotta
on,
drop it.
man.
That's good old
Set an alarm clock.
Southern fried Baptist.
Jesus Christ. All right, so hey everybody. If you're enjoying Biblical Smoke, go ahead and continue to share that room to your Twitter, Facebook, whatever other social media platform you got. All right. If you would like to reach us outside of this platform, always email us. It's pinned up at the top, biblicalsmoke@gmail.com. Follow the moderators, follow the room. So that way, whenever we go live, y'all can come right on there when we get started. All right. So next up, Delore, you was gonna be next. I wanna go to Reg. He was on, dropped off, came back. So Reg, then it's gonna go to Delore, and then we're gonna keep on going from there. All right, Michelle, welcome to the stage. Nikki, welcome to the stage. Daphnique, welcome to the stage. Everybody else, all right, we're gonna get to y'all shortly. So Reg, you there?
So can I
Reg,
speak?
you on mute, Reg.
Hold on, Delore. You probably about to go in a second. Reg, you got one more time. Going once,
Come on,
going
Reg.
twice. All right, Reg. Once you get that figured out, bro, come right back to us. I muted your mic a lot earlier. All right, Dolores, on you, bro. What you got? What you got on the topic?
Well, I want to greet everyone in the house, and for what the topic is about, I would say none of them, because honestly, Christianity has really brought pain and brought disgrace, brought shame to our living today. For example, the so-called Christians who call themselves pastors, they've actually done harm to people. Let me give you for example, over here in Nigeria, you could tell that we're having a serious issues when it comes to our political our presidential election and all that. And most of these people who are involved in this evil going on are pastors, because they work with these politicians and they come up on Sunday and start teaching people wrong things and things that they cannot even keep. So what I would say is that Christianity for me has really brought a big shame and brought a big disaster to humanity. Honestly, I'm not even talking about the drug dealers and those ones. They promote violence and everything, but a lot of people will be expecting, oh, it's going to be Christian. Christian is better, but it's the worst. Honestly, Christianity is just the worst thing I can even. I'm even ashamed to identify myself as one, because a lot of things they even be teaching us right from childhood up to now. Being an adult, I've seen that, man, those things are just a tools of slavery, just to promote fear and everything. Because for you to be a child of God, you're not supposed to be afraid. But why they keep teaching everything and making it look like as if you don't do this, you're going to die. But God has already said that you're not supposed to die. So, but I don't want to talk long, because I've been hearing a lot of people coming up and saying all sort of stupid things like, should just go and learn and keep quiet and be humble and listen to people when they're talking. Not come up here and be talking things as if you be like being influenced with cheap drugs and everything, and you come here and be saying all sort of nonsense. Like, learn. You'll be told that the things you've been taught are bullshit, and you're still coming up and arguing with people who already know the scriptures and everything, trying to make you understand that a lot of holidays that we're talking about are demonic. A lot of all the holidays that are talking about are demonic, are satanic. But I don't know why people can't calm down and listen, because these days people are becoming wiser and trying to understand that this whole teachings of the so-called pastors are just method of enslaving people. So, but I would just say that Christianity for me is a no-no. I'm not talking about the drug dealers, because that's something we don't even need to talk about. But for Christianity needs to be reformatted. You understand? Like, everybody needs to really come back and learn the right ways. And secondly, I want to ask a question. I don't know if my brothers over there, you could throw more light. And this is something I was kind of reasoning. When they say Jesus is coming soon and coming, I'm kind of wondering, like, what kind of Jesus are they expecting? Because I want us to throw more light on this. I don't know what kind of Jesus they are expecting to come again. Please, I like us to throw more light on that later on, please. Thank you.
They expecting the
Black
white man to come
Messiah
out
coming with
against.
a vengeance.
Still what?
Black Messiah coming with a vengeance.
Whew. Hey, go to the next one, JB.
All right. Hey, Michelle, can you hear me?
Good evening, brothers and sisters.
Hey, good evening, sis. What's going on with you? How you what you got on the topic? What you got on the topic? What's worse, Christians or drug dealers?
They both fall in the same category. Um, but I want to say Christians take the cake for me. Because I grew up in a Baptist church. Um, now that I'm grown and more observant and aware of the bullshit, it definitely, changed me. And how I've changed is listening to you all. Once I very first chimed in your room some months ago, I easily it just changed me instantly. Um, because I knew that it was coming from the heart, and I knew you guys were speaking the truth from the Bible. But that fake ass Bible, that white man Bible, has been circulating for a long time. So we only knew what we knew as being youngsters and being under the roof of who raised us, and being taught what they've been taught. But now that I'm an adult, it's definitely different for me, and I do see a difference in myself.
All
So
praises. Hey,
thank
sis,
you.
hey, all praise to the Most High, sis. Let me ask you a question.
Praises.
You
Yeah.
said you grew up in the Baptist church, right?
Yes.
What did you see growing up that you, because you mentioned earlier you saw the bullshit for what it is. What did you
Yeah.
see growing up in the Baptist church? Why you know it's bullshit?
Why do I know it's bullshit? Is because just the different things that they talk about, they spoke on, as far as who God was, and they portrayed like this white God, that's hanging up in a lot of the churches. So I'm just like looking at what I've learned from you all, um, and I see a difference. And I'm just like, damn, we've been hearing this bullshit for a long time. But for me, as a youngster, when I was going to church, I pretty much let it come in one ear and out the other because I simply just went because my grandmother, enforced that on us. But we had no choice as being kids. You can't be disrespectful to who brought you up. You know what I'm saying? So um, I just went for the little candies that the old ladies was giving in Sunday school. So thankfully, I didn't absorb, too much of that shit. But I can definitely see differently now that I am an adult. So I think I tip my hat off to you fellas, you brothers, because I don't think that if I didn't explore Clubhouse, I wouldn't have stumbled upon the biblical smoke. And I know it wasn't by accident. So I thank you, brothers and sisters, for influencing me in the right way.
All praise to the Most High, my sister. Hey,
All
sis,
praises.
we do have a school in where are you located at?
In the Bay Area, San Francisco, between San Francisco and Oakland,
Okay,
California.
we got a school out there in I think it's Richmond,
We got one in
Richmond, California.
Oakland too.
Is there
Oh,
one in
okay, it's in
Oakland?
Oakland. So, sis,
Okay.
yeah, email us. Email us. You could come meet our sisters. Come learn with us.
I would
Come be a
love
part of
to.
this movement. You
I
understand?
definitely want to. Yes, I would
All
love
praises.
to.
Hit us up at
All
biblical smoke.
praises.
Yeah, biblicalsmoke@gmail.com. Hit us up, sis.
I will. Thank you.
Hey, I'll
Yeah,
say
I
this
want to
though.
comment.
I'll say this that if any of y'all, I don't know, I've been listening for a while, man. I'll tell you, if any of y'all Christians are in the crowd, I just want y'all to take a real hard look at how the world sees Christianity. They are siding with drug dealers as being better than you. Man, people that sell dope to their own people and kill them. People that fill the prison systems. People that are on the streets. toting guns, hanging on your corners, the gunshots at night. They are saying that drug dealers are better than Christians. Take heed to that, y'all
Damn.
brothers and sisters in Christianity. This is what people think about you in the churches. And the worst part
Damn.
about it is, ain't none of you Christians coming up to defend it.
Damn.
Nah, I'm here to defend it. I'm here to defend it.
Damn,
I'm here to
damn,
defend it.
damn.
I actually wanted to say this.
Well,
When
you on that shit, Phil. You on that stuff. We ain't
nah
listening
nah
to you.
nah nah nah, I'm chilling,
And he
bro.
high as hell.
But because
You look high too.
I know if somebody said about my faith, right? I'm like, oh no, man. We don't get down like that. Nah, dude. We don't do that stuff. Who told you that stuff? We don't do that. The reason why I believe brothers and sisters that are in the Christianity religion ain't coming up here defending it is because they know it's true. They see it with their own eyes and they deny it and stay stuck in that Christian church because it gives women freedom to be authority to be over the man or equal to the man in the Christian church. You're equal to the man or over them in the Christian church. And if you come outside of that, and if you come into what the actual scriptures or what the Bible says, it's going to restrict you. It's going to put you in order. And you can't be Eve anymore, where you equal to your man or above him or God like him. So you stay there, but you know it's a lie. That's why ain't none of them coming up on this stage defending it. I'm waiting on it to defend it, but I ain't heard it. That's bad, y'all. Take
let me
heed.
say this. Let me actually talk for a second. Come on, guys. Like, chill. Just let me say this shit.
How about you mute your mic because you went next, and then you're waiting order, and then you go. Go ahead,
Christian.
JB.
All right. Next up on the stage, Nikki. Can you hear me? And if you're trying to talk, then your mic is muted. Nikki Mack, can you hear me? Going once, going twice. All right, Nikki, we're going to circle back to you. Probably the mic is muted, so just go ahead and click that button. So, Dafanique. I hope I said your name right.
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
What's going on, sis? What's going on? What you got on the topic?
Um, I think they're both like equally. I would say maybe. Oh, they're both like equally detrimental to the community. Um, I know a lot of people here is speaking about the Bible, but I grew up Muslim, and then I know that a, a large part of Christianity has been forced onto the world. Uh, so how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that that
I,
was the native language?
I have a question. What do you find the biggest differentiation between Muslim
Yo,
and
how
Hold
you
on,
gonna
Christianity?
Christian.
disrespect
She
the
wasn't
sister like
talking to
that, man?
you,
Shut
man.
up.
So, yeah, I'm about to say,
Christian, she
what the
wasn't talking.
hell's
She was
happening?
Disrespectful,
talking to
man.
us.
Hey, guaranteed that's a Christian right there.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Damn.
So,
Felix,
Sis Daphne, can you repeat that question again for us, just so we make sure we can answer it right?
Um, what do you think is the original religion? Or was religion just forced upon us? Because religion, as we all know, is man-made. Uh, and when you look at a lot of these Aboriginal people in these countries like Australia and stuff like that, people that just strictly live with no technology and live off the land, it's like they don't have a religion. So if they worship the
Okay.
land and the world, then what are we following? You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Check this out. So, of course, so a lot
'Cause
of people don't
we're all
understand that when God created Adam, he didn't um, he didn't just say, "Hey, man, go out there, be fruitful, and multiply, and have a bunch of kids." That ain't how Adam was to govern his life at all. Uh, Let me show you this because you asked a question about religion, all that being forced. I'll deal with the beginning first. In the book of Second Ezra, chapter 3. For those that ain't never heard of Second Ezra, that is in the Apocrypha, which was in the original 1611 KJV translation, and Protestants took it out in the I think it was late 1800s or early 1800s, but they had it removed from the Bible because the original translation of King James had 80 books. Now the one you buy in Walmart only has 66 books, but it's supposed to have 80. So go to Second Ezra, it's chapter 3, and look what God said. Ezra said about Adam in the beginning. Second Ezra chapter 3, and let's read verse. Command is the people. Verse 4. Start at verse 4.
Yes, sir. The book of Second Ezra, chapter 3 and verse 4. O Lord, who bearest rule, thou spakest at the beginning, when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commandest the people,
God commanded the people. Let's keep reading.
and gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee.
So it said he breathed into him the breath of life, and he was made living before these. That doesn't mean that God gave him mouth to mouth resuscitation and made his lungs start working. That ain't what that means. Go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 7, and let's read verse 2 to show you what it means. Breathed into him and became living, a living soul. What makes you alive in the eyes of God? It ain't just the air you breathe. Read that for him.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 7 and verse 2. Keep my commandments and live.
Read it again.
Keep my commandments and live.
Keep my commandments and live. Keep reading.
And my law as the apple of thine eye.
And my law as the apple of thine eye. Now go to Proverbs chapter 4, verse 4 to get another precept to show you. So you got two scriptures to back it up. What makes you live? And this is tell you what Adam got. Read Proverbs 4 and 4.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 4. He taught me also and said unto me, let thine heart retain my words. Keep my commandments and live.
Keep my commandments and live. So when it says that God breathed into Adam and he became a living soul before him, that means that God gave Adam commandments to live by. And Adam's job was to teach all the other people the commandments of God. That's what was given to us from the beginning. It wasn't man-made religion like you talking about, Sis Daphne, that it was forced on us. We understand that. But from the beginning, it was commandments. It was the laws of God. It was, and that's what it always been. Here's one more precept. Genesis chapter 26 and verse 5. And let's show you that it didn't change even with Abraham. Abraham was living by the commandments of God. Genesis 26, verse 5.
The book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 5. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
There you go. You see how Abraham lived his life. Abraham kept the laws of God. Adam was given the laws of God and was to teach all the nations because he was ruler over all of them. He was Lord of the whole earth at that time. So from the beginning, to answer your question, Sis Daphne, it's always been the commandments of God, not man-made religion. That's what the whole world has confused now, is that they believe that from this one book, it's a bunch of different ways to get to God. No, there's only one way to get to God. It's to keep the commandments and the faith in his son, Jesus the Christ. Proof, here's the proof of it. Revelation 14, verse 12. So if you caught up in Christianity that has a multitude of denominations, Baptist, Catholic, Jehovah Wickedness, Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventist, you want to call yourself non-denomination, which is a denomination because you're non-denomination. Or even if you're in Islam, that's man-made religion. God didn't give
Absolutely.
us that.
And I
So
wanted to
Revelation
say
14,
something.
verse 12.
The book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
That's in the last book of the Bible. It tells you how to get to the kingdom. The commandments of God and the faith. That's the same thing that was given to Adam in the beginning that he transgressed, and now it brought in death. So to reverse the curse of death, you have to go back to what God gave us in the beginning, which was the commandments. That's how you reverse the curse of death, through the commandments and the faith in his son Jesus the Christ, that he'll deliver us if you keep those commandments. But a lot of people today, you don't have the faith in Jesus the Christ that if you keep the commandments of God, you be delivered. Now we don't have it. We've got faith in man, we got faith in religion, so we follow those things and do those things instead of trusting in God. So to answer your question, from the beginning, it's always been the commandments, never man-made religion.
Thank you. And I appreciate you explaining that. And I also wanted to say something too, because earlier you was like, you called somebody a simp, and you was like, you don't lead your household and stuff like that. And what I wanted to say is that I noticed that in this room, whenever I come in, you guys treat women with respect. A lot of men that do call other men simps and stuff like that, um, they don't respect women. But I noticed that you guys do talk to people respectfully. Thank you.
All praises to the Most High.
All praise
Somebody
to the Most
click
High.
that. hey,
Please click that.
A1, shalom, sir.
A1.
Most High in Christ bless.
Most High bless you, sir.
Hey, hey, shalom, mighty, mighty man of God. Hey, I was driving before. Y'all know I'm on my way to work. I just got here, and when that guy was being disrespectful, and you guys were trying to explain to him that there's a natural order of things by God, and what people don't understand, the people that come in this room and challenge, this is what everybody should take away from the room. Whether you have a difference of opinion, whether you disagree with us, all of you have to take away this from the room. You're all going to die. And what I mean by you're all going to die is either you're going to get old and die, you're going to get hit by a car or whatever, or you're not going to live forever. The Bible describes and gives instructions on how we live forever. Okay? And that's the only reason why we should be in the book. But just stop and think, pull everything you know out the way for a minute and everything you've learned and think about what's the most important thing is life and longevity. And the God of this Bible, which there's no other writings on the face of the planet, has preserved life. The God of this Bible is our creator, and the God of this Bible is our deliverer. And what men don't understand, a lot of people that come in here with their opinion, they talk about the here and the now. And the here and now is temporary. It tells you in the Bible that the fashion of this world pass away. And the men that are learned, that are following this Bible right now, we know something you don't know. What we know is America, as you know it, is going to be destroyed. America's Babylon in the Bible. America is a place when you read in the book of Revelation that's going to be set on fire. So there's an escape plan. You don't have to die. God promises us that if we follow him, we will be delivered. But there's criteria that must be met. That's why he took you. That's why Z took you to the beginning where Adam and Eve. That's how we fell from our position of power because we allowed a woman to communicate with Satan, and that brought us down to the lowest level, which we're in right now. To be delivered, this is what the Bible says to be delivered from that condition. Go to Revelation chapter 14, verse 1.
The book of
Because the
Revelation.
fall of man, just follow me for a minute. The fall of man was in the garden with Eve. This is what the Bible says will rectify the situation of what went wrong when we stepped out of our divine God given order. When a woman felt that she should be empowered over the man, that's how we fell as a nation. This is how we will be fixed as a nation. Revelation 14, verse 4. Verse 1. Start with verse 1.
Yes, sir. The book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads.
That's the group. That's the number of men that are going to come to the realization and the understanding of what we're teaching in this room. Most of the men are not going to get it. They're going to remain simps. They're going to remain argumentative. They're going to want to be in the Christian church. They're going to want to be drug dealers and whoremongers and adulterers and killers and drug dealers and murderers because that's the nigger mind state that we're in. And Satan says he's going to take a lot of souls before this is established. But there's going to be 144,000 men that God is going to preserve. And you're reading about that elite group right now. Read on.
And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts, and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth.
What puts a man in an exclusive position of power when he has information that everybody else don't got? That's why it says no man can learn this song except 144,000. That's why a lot of you stupid niggas that come in the room, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm just trying to strike a nerve. You unlearned niggas that don't know God, that come with that simp mindset, that street mindset that you won't humble yourself, you will never be in this position. Because you come here to challenge with what you see with your eyes, and your heart has not been open to connect with the Father so he could put you on this level where no man will learn what you know except you're part of that elite group, that 144,000. Watch this, it gets better. Read on.
These are
May
they
may
which were not
may I ask a
defiled
question
with
to the
women.
room?
Here we go right now. The scriptures is due.
No,
Why should I stop?
no,
Why should I stop
I'm not
entertaining you?
asking about
Why
scripture.
should I
Uh-huh.
stop? Mute him, please. Mute him. Then they get mad at me when I be disrespectful in the room. Read it, please.
Yes, sir. These are they which were not defiled with women.
So this is what God says. God says he cannot put you in this position of authority to rule the planet Earth and his kingdom if you've been defiled by a woman. So a woman that wants, because every woman wants a dominant man. You want a man of power. You want an elite man. You want an exceptional man. You're learning in this room what type of man to look for. You want a man with that exclusive information connected to God on a level that you can't buy your way into. You can't brown nose your way into. You can't shoot your way into or muscle your way into. It's a level of obedience that you can get that spot. In that spot, the woman is going to be in a position where she never thought she would be in her entire life. Because any position you have of power now can be taken from you. In the government, in finance, in your neighborhood, in your relationship, this spot is forever. This spot will never be relinquished. So you men that get this spot from following the divine order of God, and then you women let lead and you become what you have to be according to the word of God, that's when your life is heaven. Right now we're in hell. The Bible says we're in hell now. Hell is a condition, it's not a place. Hell is going to disappear and heaven is going to appear. For you women to get that heaven that the Bible finds about, you must know your place with God. It ain't to disrespect you or treat you like when y'all think about the disrespect and you don't want to submit, it's because you're used to niggas. You're used to the niggas that you see now with their pants hanging off their ass. They trying to stick their dick in everything that move. They tell you they love you and then they shit on you. They take your money. They beat you. They abuse. We're not talking about niggas. Niggas is gonna die. Niggas will not be in this exclusive place we're talking about. These are men who know God, they follow God, they follow the scriptures, and they're looking for one that sees long-term plan. The power in a man that agrees.
All right, all right. I'm gonna continue to move on. Y'all remember, continue to share the room on all your social media platforms. Follow the moderators on stage and the room. And our email is shared and posted and pinned up at the top, biblicalsmoke@gmail.com, if y'all want to contact us outside of this room. All right. Christopher, you was up next. What you got, bro?
So my question to the room was, what do you really find solace in everlasting life? And I don't. I don't really see that as a possibility. I look at the teachings of Christ and the Bible and a lot of the teachings through religions across the board as ethical ways to treat each other. And what's really the difference between you and I and a bug, that is integral to the part of our existence here on the planet? And I'm not sold on the eternal life deal. I'm not saying that there's not a God. I'm just saying that
Christopher.
our
Christopher.
that
Hey, can I
Christopher.
ask him a question?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Can I ask him a
no,
question?
no, go ahead.
The question is this: you're not sold on the eternal life, correct? You don't believe that? When you say you're not sold, I want you to be specific. Do you not believe that there's a way that you can live forever? Yes or no?
I do not. I do
Okay,
not.
good,
I
good.
think
So I
that
want to ask you this, Christopher, before I answer you. What do you think happens when you die? Do you think that that's it? And that's it? You just come on this earth, you live and you die? Or do you think that there's something else that happens when you die?
I think that our consciousness is an excess, an ex- an what's the word? Inexplicably stricken to our corporeal form. So there's no way for our consciousness to move on from this. Now, whether or not our energy is passed on, that's a different question. The way that I interact with the world around me can pass on positive
Okay,
information.
I'm gonna give you something to think about, Christopher. All of us are on our phones right now, and none of us can see each other, but we can hear each other.
Hey, yo, you in the Matrix. You in the Matrix, sir.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you're
I'm gonna
skipping
move
out.
around. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
that's better. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. We're all on our phones. We can hear each other, but we can't see each other. Somehow we're communicating to each other through a device and we can't see each other. The reason why is because inside of these flesh and blood bodies is a soul, is a spirit, is energy. Okay, even that's why when we die or we go into cardiac arrest, they shock us to revive that spirit. There's a way that this spirit can come in and out of this body. So for anyone not to question where does that spirit go when we die, because the body's flesh and blood, but somewhere inside of us there's a makeup of us. It's called a spirit. For people not to wonder, and I'm trying to keep this as simple as I can. I'm not going to go into a lot of scriptures because I know a lot of you don't believe in the Bible. For you to think that this body just goes into the earth and not think, where does the spirit go? The spirit is inside of our body now. You can't go in and find it. We know where our heart is, our kidneys, our livers, our this. They say the spirit is in our brain, but when we get nervous, we feel effects in our heart. There's a spirit inside you, a soul inside of you. And what the Bible explains is there is a God that could take that spirit and put it someplace else. And this is what I'm trying to get you people to understand. You've all been here before. This is not your first time on earth. This is not your first go round. Get Exodus chapter 34, verse 7, real quick. And
And
these are what you should think of when you think about a God, not your car, your house. I want to live
no,
till
I
I
agree with
can
that.
retire.
And I believe I have an answer to what you were talking about. And
Just I'm gonna give you the floor back. I'm gonna give you the floor back. I'm just
yeah,
trying to
no, I'm not trying to be
simplify
rude
this.
at all. No, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I'm just trying to simplify this as best as I can for the listening audience and for you. Get that real quick. Exodus
The,
34
And
verse 7.
yes, sir. The
yeah,
book of
go ahead.
Exodus, chapter 34 and verse 7. Keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin.
Because God will have mercy on us because men don't have mercy on us. If you leave it up to most men, the relationships are conditional. They will destroy you if they don't like you. But God has mercy on us because he understands in this fleshly body we make sin. We create sin. So he has mercy. He'll forgive our transgression and sin. Read on.
And that will by no means clear the guilty,
Meaning just because he forgave us, that doesn't mean we're off the hook. Why? Read on.
visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, unto the third and to the fourth generation.
So when you read the scripture, he skipped the first and the second generation, and he says, I will take your sin and visit your third and your fourth. Okay, that tells us a little bit about how God operates. Because in your third and your fourth generation is when you return back to this earth. You can see your grandchildren or your great grandchildren. Very rare you see your great great grandchildren, but by the fourth generation of people, that's the cycle that God's used to bring our spirit back to this earth in another body. That's why I gave you the analogy of we're all talking right now, and no one ever really stops to think, what is it? Who is this person? And forget your face, your lips, your eyes, your hairs. There's a soul inside of you that we can't see. How did it get there? Where does it go when you die?
I
It
have an
goes back
answer to
to the
that
Father.
question. I have an
It goes
answer to
back
that.
to the Father, and the Father sends it back to the earth either on the third or the fourth generation. So, what I'm explaining to you is there is a system in place that God could give you everlasting life. You just don't know it because you don't understand God and you don't understand the operation of spirits. That's why I remember when I was older and I would see my grandparents talking, and they will say, "You remind me of such and such. You walk like him, you talk like him, you this, you that." And they were right according to the scriptures. Because when you read in the Bible, God recycles spirits. He will take your spirit and put it in another generation, another body. Okay, our parents have sex and create us, but the soul of the child comes from God. The soul of the child is what God has a system in place when he could send people back to the earth. That's why they were asking John the Baptist if he was one of the other prophets. They were asking Christ if he was one of the other prophets, because we had that understanding at one time and we've lost it now. So the point that I'm trying to make you to simplify things. I don't give a shit about people's religious beliefs. I'm trying to understand the mind of God. There's no religion in the Bible. Your whole existence of being on this earth is to connect with God from the day that you're born to the day that you're faced with death. Because when you die, you're going to have to stand before God. And if you are right with God, there is a possibility that he will give you everlasting life. And that's what the church don't teach you. And that's what a lot of you people don't understand in the room. This is not about following some religion or following what makes you feel good or what's been forced
My
on you.
phone is dying, and I will leave with this. All of our understanding and physical evidence leads to that there is no such thing as life after death. Everything that we know as our experience here on the planet is stricken to our physical form. And there are a lot of things that can be taught through the teachings of Jesus Christ, but that is nothing to do with everlasting life.
You sound like a
Where you
There
got
savage.
is
that
no,
information from? Where did you get that
I,
information from?
plenty of places.
No, I don't care about. I'm telling you where I got my information from. A book that's been around since before you were born. Where did you get your information from?
Science is
Okay, this
consistently
is what the Bible
conforming.
says about science. First Timothy chapter 6, verse 20, please.
The
I
book
don't
of
care
first
about science. Science is
I
irrelevant to our existence. First Timothy 6, verse 20. Read that, please.
Yes, sir. The book of First Timothy, chapter 6 and verse 20.
my
20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust,
What was committed to
avoiding
his trust? The word of God. Read on.
avoiding profane and vain babblings,
What you just said was Babel that man created. Read on.
no,
and
I that's not what I'm
oppositions of
saying.
science
If your
falsely so
science, if your science is in opposition to the word of God, it's to be avoided. It says oppositions of science. Read on.
falsely so called.
Because most of the science you know is bullshit. Most of the science that the people in power have is from experimenting on black people. What you know about birth, what you know about the brain, what you know about the heart. There's documented books written on how they evolved in medicine and how they evolved in surgery was from holding a people in captivity and carving them up at their will to be the level of understanding now. So I don't care about science right now. There was a time when we were not getting sick like we're getting sick now. And the reason why sickness exists is because of the evil of man. We weren't catching no colds. There was no such thing as no COVID. There was no such thing as diabetes or, uh, or gout or all these other things that we're getting now. It's from the people on the earth going against God, creating disease and sickness, horrible food. They destroy the ozone layer. They destroy the climate. And because of like what Z was trying to tell you, our whole existence is to follow God's laws so we can live on earth. The Bible even documents in the beginning that people were living hundreds of years. When God saw how wicked man became, he cut our lifespan down to only 120. Get that real quick, Genesis chapter 6. So
Ayo,
to hell with science.
ayo, ayo. Hey,
Yeah.
do you remember 2 years ago when they had the coronavirus going crazy and they came up with a vaccine and told everybody
Sorry for the
trust the
people that actually
science.
believe
They kept
this.
saying trust the science.
Yes,
Now
yes,
they're
yes.
going go ahead, Ayo.
That's a perfect example. Go ahead. Finish your point.
Right. Now certain states are starting to ban the vaccine. They're coming up with legislation to ban that vaccine that 2 years ago all the politicians were saying trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. The science is bullshit.
And don't question it. You couldn't question it. Now remember when this thing was spreading and I started telling people on YouTube what to drink if you got sick, and all of a sudden they were blocking me, they were censoring, they were shutting us
Right.
down, they were sending threats to us. I was given natural ingredients of the earth to take, and I was telling people, I've been around people who have COVID. I've told other people to take it. Everybody told me, yo, I was sick, I drank it, I took it, I was fine. They still wanted to inject us rather than us go to the grocery store and buy natural ingredients from the earth to deal with our immune system. And you're going to tell me about science?
These
Oh,
scientists, they're such bullshit. They tell you that we breathe this thing.
the scientists lie at the drop of a dime. Almost all the scientists, they don't reveal all the information to you. Okay, they don't tell you that if you take Tylenol or all these other drugs, they'll destroy your intestines. They'll destroy your stomach lining. Okay, everything now. When we was growing up, there wasn't all these commercials for all these drugs with 100 different side effects. After it's a money making scheme. It's a money marketing scheme. Just look up Monsanto's. Look at all these other drug dealers that you see right now. They know that because we go against God, we don't follow a proper diet, and we want to have promiscuous sex, they can capitalize on that. They even tell you that.
They
Uh,
want to tell you we breathe something called oxygen. Is that something
they
you can
even
see? Oxygen does.
They even tell you, I'm saying a lot of stuff that when I was talking about this, it was removed from YouTube. I said this before that when people were in fear of this coronavirus, where that woman, Judy Mikovits, I used to play her videos where she was warning us about the COVID, saying that there's a patent on the medicine. And how does she know? Because she says she worked on AIDS medication in 1984 with Dr. Fauci. And before AIDS was unleashed on the community with Arthur Ashe, y'all remember the black tennis player when he died? I was young, I was little when that came. Then all of a sudden, Magic Johnson and all these people, where was that shit before? All of a sudden, it just came out of nowhere, and everybody was dying or getting sick from AIDS. That's control. That's by science. Same thing with right now with this bullshit corona and the new one that Bill Gates is going to unleash on you called SARS. So nobody listen to science. Listen to God. The problems that we have now with our health, with our marriage, with our neighborhood, with the church is because we went against God. I mute my mic.
All right. Hey, y'all continue to share the room, follow the moderators and the room as well. And our email is at the top if you need to get in contact with us outside of this platform. All right. Gonna keep it trucking, gonna keep it moving. Glow, you just came up on stage. Welcome. What you got on the topic? What's worse, Christians or drug dealers? What you got?
Hey, I'm judgment free, so I don't really. I was just listening in. I guess my issue really ain't the God talk. It's just more of so I guess the religion base. So I mean, I'm biased either way. I really don't have no judgment, but I was listening to what AY was saying. So could we go deeper on that?
Yes, just follow me. There's no religion in the Bible. Religion is man-made. Okay, this is the first time God addressed the people and he told them this. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 35. And I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show you a correlation. Forget about religion for a minute. I'm not a religious person. I don't believe. My mother forced me to go to church up until 12, 14 years old. And then she abandoned us. Okay, so I turned my back on religion. It wasn't until I came across men like this in the room that forced me to think critically about the Bible and my life and the world that I started to talk like this. Other than that, I was doing what every other nigga was doing: guns, drugs, hustling, getting money, trying to be in the music business, doing all that stuff of the world. Until I came across the men that you see speaking on stage, and they sat my black ass down and they just made me think. They say, if you want to hide anything from a Negro, put it in a book. Read that, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 35.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 35. Unto thee it was shewed that thou mightest know that the Lord he is God. There is none else beside him.
Because we have a whole bunch of different thought process, and this is when God was establishing himself to a specific group of people. Read on.
Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he might instruct thee. And upon
Because
earth,
without instructions, we destroy ourselves. Everybody's trying to lead us in different paths. Okay? So he said, being me, I'm the creator of the earth. I'm going to instruct you because that's what we all need in our marriage, in our relationships, in our friendships, at our job, with the economy, with our health, with our diet. Everything is in the Bible. Every single thing you could think of is in the Bible. Everything you're fighting for. Okay, it's in the Bible, and God can give it to you as your creator who controls your spirit. Read on.
and upon earth he shewed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them.
Stop. The reason why he said he loved thy fathers, because let's take it from the beginning. We first had Adam. Then after Adam, we had Noah. Then after Noah, we had Abraham, then Isaac, then Jacob, then the 12 tribes of Israel. Just follow the chain. There were our forefathers first, and then there was a nation. And then you see God addressing a nation. This is what we're reading now. He dealt with individuals first, and then he dealt with the 12 tribes of Israel, which is you Negroes in America right now. You Negroes scattered throughout the earth. North, South, and Central America. The Bible describes your birth and it describes your deliverance. It describes your existence. What you know now was taught to you by science, by liars, by people who had you in captivity for hundreds of years. They stopped you from reading and write, and then they called you nigger. They called you Negro. They called you black. They called you African. They called you everything but what the Bible says. So you got to stop and think, why did they put so much time into pulling us away from God, pulling us away from the instructions of God, taking the Bible away from us, making us not be able to read and write, and make us beg to vote, make us beg for equal rights, make us walk around now saying Black Lives Matter? The Bible answers that. This book is not for everybody. For anybody to come and bring their religious bullshit here, he spoke to individual men first, then he addressed the nation. And he said, I got instructions for you that will make you prosper. And if you go against these instructions, you will not prosper on this earth. You'll die and you'll come back to my throne, and then I'm going to judge you. That's how simple this book is. The bullshit that's attached to it is because of your ignorance. It's not because men are crafty, because men are so smart, because the average nigga, the most smartest men I know are in this room right now. I don't respect the people that control the company while I work. Their time is temporary. I don't respect the president. He's in a position because of bloodshed, violence, and war. I don't respect the world leaders. How did they get to where they are? Just read the Bible. God said that when we fell, the real rulers of the earth, the other nations, will rise up. The Bible prophesies their demise and our rise. Read on.
And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them.
What's the seed? Us right now. Okay, this promise wasn't given to all nations of the earth. The reason why we on the bottom, you want the answers, it's in the Bible. Read on.
And brought thee out in his sight with his mighty power out of Egypt.
Because the Egyptians were ruling over us. They were dark in color like us, but they had us as slaves. That's historical. You can look at the pyramids. Look at the documentation they left behind. It was dark-skinned people enslaving another dark-skinned people. That was the first slavery were in the hands of the Egyptians, and God destroyed them. That's why I say everybody black ain't you. There are people that look like you that are not you, but the church supposed to notice and they don't teach it to you. And when they do find it out, they hide it because this is not sexy, or this don't make no money, or this is not something I could teach in church. I need to teach everything's gonna be all right now, and just pay your tithes, and Jesus loves you, and you my child, and all that bullshit. Meanwhile, you go back to your house and your life is a mess. Read on.
To drive out nations from before thee,
God
greater
used to
and
drive. God used to drive out the other nations before us. When we went against God, he said, I'm going to let the other nations have their way with you. That's why white people enslave black people. The Bible documents their beginning. They're of the seed of Esau. They came out of the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. Caucasian means cave dweller. They used to live in caves. When you see cartoons like Flintstone and Bedrock, that was them. That's why they make these cartoons. The horrible, read the comics. That's when they started to rise up and they started to attack us. We lived in them castles. We lived in the Great Land. We lived in Europe. The original people of Europe were black. The original people who had them castles and them jewels were black. But when they enslaved us, because God said here, he said he would drive out nations, but because of our disobedience, he allowed the other nations to strive and take control of us. And when the white man rose up in the 14th century, this is historical, you can look it up. They gave us new images of Jesus Christ, a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes, new images of God on the 16th chapel with white angels around him. All that's bullshit that was made up. Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. Then they said, let's attack these niggas now. Let's strip them of their riches, their heritage, their culture, and enslave them and put them in chains. Y'all forgetting, y'all just came out of these chains 100 years ago. Before, y'all was begging for everything. Y'all didn't have toilet tissue to wipe your ass. So a lot of the history that you have now is distorted. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all just come in the room and throw your opinions and your feelings and your emotions. The answers are in the Bible. And once you read the Bible and you follow the pattern, then you go into history. I looked at when we used to rule in the 16th century, when King James had the Bible translated into English because it was originally written in the Greek and in the Hebrew. Okay, then I looked at, okay, what happened to King James after he had it translated? Eventually, the Ottoman Turks came and took his empire down. Then the Atlantic slave trade came. Who they snatched up? Black people. They knew who you was. They knew you were royal. They knew you were powerful. And they said, what we're going to do different with these niggas is we're going to stop them from reading and writing for hundreds of years. We're going to make money off of them for hundreds of years. They had hundreds of years of free labor. And then when we release them, we're not going to tell them who they are. So before y'all discredit the Bible, listen. I mute my mic.
All right.
Hello, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm speechless. I'm over here trying to catch up, but yeah, it did.
Hey, and for all of y'all, there's no state that you're in that we don't have a school. Okay, I'm in New York. We got schools in Atlanta. We got school in Florida, Texas, Mississippi, uh, uh, Canada, England, the UK. We all over. The reason why y'all don't know it is because there's a media blackout. The same thing when we pulled up at the Barclays Center for Kyrie Irving. Now all of a sudden they pressing us, they watching every single move we making, because they ain't never expect niggas to start talking like this. When y'all popping bottles and talking about throwing money on models and in the strip club, they like that nigga shit. But when black men put all that bullshit down and they start going into the word of God and they start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, this is the end of the life the way you know it. The world is coming to an end. Judgment is coming to this earth. But before the judgment comes, God says he got to wake up 1/3 of the people and bring them back to the truth. Christ said, ye shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. And what's the truth? We are the people of God. We are the people that's going to rule this planet. Although it look like we niggas and we bitches and we hoes and we bums and we ain't got shit, they taught you not shit. We are the greatest people to walk the face of the planet Earth, and I could prove it with this Bible. I mute my mic.
Fire. Okay. So let's go on to the next person on stage. Glow, I do hope you had got something from that. Stay on stage, sis, and possibly loop right back around to you. All right. So Raphael, you up next. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, what you got?
No, I just I don't know. I wanted a little bit of yeah. I think I'm confused because I keep hearing y'all say there's no religion in the Bible. How are you defining religion?
Well, religion, in the sense of what we're talking about, is something that is outside of what God created. Because the technical definition of religion means to hold back, restrict. That's what the commandments do. The commandments make you discipline your flesh and bring it into subjection to the will of God upon earth. Uh, so when he say we not teaching religion, it's because the Bible does not deal with man-made religions. When God chose the Israelites as his chosen people and delivered them from Egypt out of bondage to Pharaoh, he did not give them a man-made religion. Christianity is something new on the earth. Which is, most of us know the history behind that of when it actually came into fruition around 325 AD under Emperor Constantine. When you read the word Christian in the Bible, it is not the modern day people that you see going to church on Sunday. Followers of Christ, the anointed ones of Christ, did not do the things that they do in church today. Here's the proof of it. Let's go to Acts chapter 11 and verse 26. I'll show you this, Brother Raphael, because this is what the world has confused, that they think because you use a Bible that you're religious. The Bible's not a religious book. The Bible is a history book of one people's rise, fall, and rise again. It's their history. Religion has made this book universal and made you think it applies to everyone, but it does not. It's just written in code that the people in the New Testament are the same people that it's talking about in the Old Testament, just under different names. It's written in code like that. Acts chapter 11, let's read verse 26.
Yes, sir. The book of Acts, chapter 11 and verse 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church, and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
You see, Raphael, who was first called Christians? Disciples. The disciples were first called Christians in Antioch. So let me show you what the disciples, which we know were the disciples of Jesus the Christ, were called Christians. Let's show you what they did. And you tell me if it compares to what modern day religion, Christianity, does. Go to the book of Matthew and let's read chapter 26. And I want you to read verse 17 down to 19. Now you check this out, Brother Raphael. Matthew 26, 17 through 19. And I hope everybody's writing this stuff down, because what we, you can hear it, but you're not going to remember, especially if this is your first time coming into the understanding of it. You won't remember this stuff. So write it down. You can go back and read it later. Read that Matthew 26, 17 through 19. Show what the disciples did. Go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 17. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And
You went out. I can't hear you, man.
the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 17.
Uh-huh.
Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover?
So we see what the disciples were celebrating. They were celebrating Passover. Brother Raphael, in the Christianity church today, what do they celebrate around springtime? What quote unquote, I say quote unquote, what quote unquote holy day do they celebrate around springtime? It's coming up. What do they great celebrate?
You talking about Easter?
It's Easter. That's Christianity. That's man-made religion. The disciples that were called Christians, it says that they asked Jesus, where shall we prepare the Passover? And let's see what Jesus did, because they're supposed to be followers of Jesus as Christians. Let's see how Jesus answered them. Read on.
And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The master saith, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples.
Raphael, what did Jesus celebrate around the springtime?
Passover?
There you go. He celebrated Passover with his disciples that were called what? What was the disciples called, Raphael? We just read it in the book of Acts, chapter 11.
I forget the name, but I heard you say it.
That's why y'all gotta write this down. They was called Christians, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't. My memory for verses ain't all that. I'm not.
Okay. Okay.
I
No problem. No problem. Read verse 19, then we'll go back to that scripture. Read verse 19 now.
Thank you.
And
Thank
the and the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover.
We see three scriptures. Disciples kept the Passover. Jesus kept the Passover. Now go to the book of Acts 11 and 26 again.
The book of Acts, chapter 11 and verse 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
The disciples of Jesus were called Christians. The disciples, as we read in Matthew, they celebrated what around springtime, Raphael?
Passover.
There you go.
Hey,
So when
Z,
we
can I add
say
one thing?
about, oh, go ahead, A1.
I want to add one thing. The reason why they were called Christians first is because Christ reformed the church. Okay? Prior to that, the leaders of the church were instructed by the law of Moses. But when Christ stepped on the scene, remember, he challenged the church and he said the leaders were going off. That's why you read about him chasing people out, flipping tables over, and the church eventually getting mad at him. He was a black revolutionary. He was speaking the same way we speaking now. The church was taking tithe money, they were making them do animal sacrifice. They weren't instructing them in their marriage and their relationships. So when Christ stepped on the scene, he was so powerful, he influenced the people to stop relying on the teachers of the church. He never created no movement called Christianity. He never made that. That wasn't until 300 years after his death under Constantine. Then it was reformed by Europeans, by white people in the 14th century. So y'all got to know history. There's nowhere in the Bible was there a movement called Christianity. There were people who followed Christ because he said he was the Son of God and he challenged the church and he was telling them, look, you need to get your life right. You need to get your mind right. So because they couldn't put a title on what they were doing, on what he was doing, they called them Christians, which simply means he was following Christ's example in the way that he kept the laws. I mute my mic.
Yes, sir. Let's back it up some more. And look what. Now I ask you, Raphael. Who called Paul to do his ministry and to go throughout um what we call Asia Minor today? Who called Paul to go and teach his ministry?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay, it was Jesus the Christ. Jesus knocked him off the horse on his way to Damascus, and
Yeah,
he,
yeah. I know
yeah,
what
and he called him. Now look what Paul was teaching those that he went and taught in those different cities, in those Greek cities. First Corinthians chapter 5, and I want you to read verse 9. No, is this what I want? Let me see. First Corinthians chapter 6 down to 8.
Hold
First
one more time.
Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6 to 8.
Yes, sir. The book of First Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 6. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us.
Here's the point, verse 8.
Therefore, let us keep the feast.
Stop right there. What feast did he just tell the Corinthians to keep in verse 7?
you. Yeah, Passover.
There you go. Paul was teaching people to keep the Passover because Christ was keeping the Passover. And what was Paul? Was Paul a disciple of Christ?
Yeah.
There you go. So when we teach from the Bible, we're not teaching man-made religion. We're teaching the actual truth, the history of a people who we are, and we've been disconnected from it through the church that was established by the white man here in America to teach black people religion, which is Christianity. Because black people, we wasn't in Christianity when we came here. There are books that they have written that they won't allow niggas to read in the library that literally tells you that the black people of West Africa, Negro land is what it says on some maps, they follow the laws of Moses when the British came and found them. Why would quote unquote Africans be keeping the law of Moses on the west coast of Africa? Because those quote unquote Africans, they are the Israelites that fled out of Jerusalem in 70 AD and ran to west coast of Africa to blend in with more black people running from the Romans. But they make you think that you're a Gentile heathen that we must teach to slave obey your master, and that it's all about faith and the grace of God that you niggas got a way to the kingdom of heaven. But when you read the Bible with spiritual eyes, you'll find out that you're the Israelite that has been lost since the days of old through captivity after captivity after captivity, to the point you are no longer recognized as the people of God. Now you're African American. Now you're Jamaican. Now you're Haitian. Now you're Puerto Rican. Now you're a rich port. Now you're a mountainous land. Now you're two white man's names. Some of you are Asiatic black men. Some of you are Moors
Or Nubian.
or Nubian. You used to be an Afro American. You used to be colored. They've always called you niggas. We are so detached from the truth of this Bible because we've been taught that it was a religious book, that we've been looking at it like a religious book and not the historical records of our ancestors that left this book for us to find our way back to God when we remembered who we were in the last days. Let me get that scripture and then I'll mute my mic here. 1 Kings chapter 8 and it's verse 46. Look what Solomon prayed for way back before we even got scattered and left out of the land of Israel. Look at his prayer for us in the last days, like right now. Read that 1 Kings chapter 8 verse 46.
The book of First Kings, chapter 8 and verse 46. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not.
I want to get this understood for everybody that is in the Christian church. We are not saying that we are perfect and that we have never committed sin, because the scripture says all men have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And Solomon said it way before Paul did. All men have sinned. So we're not saying that we are any different from you. The difference is that we have awakened to what God calls us and what he requires of us in the last days. And we follow that with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul. And we're trying to give that to you so you can see what we see with spiritual eyes. Keep reading in verse 46.
And thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy.
So God said, Solomon said, when you get angry with them because they sin and you deliver them to the enemy, this is our history. We was delivered to the enemy. Keep reading.
So that they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy, far or near.
Brother Raphael, what is the history of black people from the west coast of Africa to America? What's the history of us coming here?
Slavery.
It said, read that again. So that what?
So that they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy, far
Was
or
we not
near.
Brother Raphael, was we not carried away unto the land of our enemies as captives?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, now check this out. I'm gonna show you that the Bible tells you how we will be carried away. Deuteronomy 28. Hold your finger there because we're coming back to it, Caleb. Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I want you to read verse 68. Look how descriptive the Bible is, and this is how you know it's not a religious book. This is tying it all together. It's not a religious, it's a history book for us. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68.
Yes, sir. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
And I want you
And
to
the Lord,
stop at Egypt because I'm going to ask Raphael a question.
yes, sir. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
It says, he shall bring you into Egypt. Brother Raphael, what was the living condition of the Israelites in the land of Egypt under Pharaoh? What was their status? Were they kings or slaves?
Slaves.
Okay, so it says he's going to bring you into Egypt. So it means he's going to take you back to what? If we was slaves in Egypt, he says he's going to take us back to what?
Slaves.
Okay, read it again. Keep that in mind. Read it again, 68.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Brother Raphael, how was the black man and black woman carried from the west coast of Africa to America? How was we carried captives into the land of our enemies?
Yeah, slave ships.
There you go. This ain't a religious book. It's
Hey,
a history book. Yes, sir. Go
hey,
ahead, A1.
Raphael, do they teach that in church? Give me a religious denomination where they read what we're reading now. Pick anyone. Christian, Methodist, Baptist, because people say, "Oh, we always banging on the church. We always attacking them." Give me a church. Give me a video where a pastor. Let's use your mega ones, your Creflo Dollar, your T.D. Jakes, your Jamal Bryans, your Kirk Franklins. Why Mary don't never sing no songs about this right here? It's always bullshit songs to turn the church into a club. Y'all should be sick of that bullshit now. And they get paid and they become this mega pop fake gospel singing star to entertain you. And you don't know shit about God and you know nothing about the Bible. That's why God says, how long will you simple ones love simplicity? Z just brought out stuff that these are the things that I heard to be like, wait. This is not what my mom was forcing me to church to go. I need to explore this more. Everybody didn't go into captivity on cargo slave ships with chains. Everybody wasn't sold to all four corners of the earth. So why y'all telling me now that this Bible is for everybody? This happened exclusively to one group of people. It ain't to the people now that's professing themselves to be the people of God in Israel. How did they get there? The government dropped them there. You niggas was there first. And historically, we were pushed out by the Romans in 70 AD. And then they saw our downfall and they capitalized on the land, our identity, and our history. And when we try to tell niggas that, they attack us and start saying stupid shit. And then when we ask them to prove the dumb shit they saying, they get mad. Go ahead, Z.
Yes, sir. So so we both on the same page that is that they would God said that I will send you back into slavery on ships. Now go back to First Kings chapter 8 and I want you to read verse 46. Pick up at the part where it says so that they.
Yes, sir. So that they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy, far or near.
So now we understand how we were carried away into the land of our enemy historically. I'm talking about history right now, Raphael. So you could take religion out your mind because we just read a historical fact in the Bible that God said, I will send you back into Egypt, slavery, again on ships. Now we know that the Israelites never went back into Egypt on ships in slavery as a nation. They never went back to Egypt in slavery. You don't read that nowhere in the Bible that God packed them up on ships and made that ship go over dry land to Egypt. That's nowhere written. So God is talking about a different place of Egypt that he will send you on ships. Now I'm gonna ask you this, Raphael. What's on that dollar bill that will let you know that this place, America, is the Egypt God was talking about? What's on the dollar bill?
If you look on the back, there's a pyramid and an eagle, and it kind
Now,
of,
my point exactly. Now, Raphael,
yeah.
here's the thing, and I want y'all to have spiritual eyes, brothers and sisters. Why does a white country have a picture of a pyramid on the back of their dollar bill?
And
That's,
Masonic
huh?
symbolism too, right?
Say it again.
Masonic symbolism.
I'm going to go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Watch this. Because you would think that, because that's what the world told us. Oh, black and white folk were into masonry. And yes, they was. George Washington was a mason. Yep, we know them white folk deal in that witchcraft and that secret shit with Satan. We know that. We ain't denying that. But it's greater than that. Then watch this. Deuteronomy 28. And you know what I want. Verse 46.
Yes, sir. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 46.
Pay attention,
And
Raphael.
and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
Hold on. Jump up to 45.
Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
I'm gonna tell you this, for all the black people that love America, you being here with that white man's last name is a curse from God. It is not a blessing that you are in the land of your slavery, that your ancestors were brought to, and they served 400 years of hard bondage, and you still got that white man's name on you, and you still go through police brutality. You still shaky when the cops pull up behind you. You still are redlined. You still got lead in your water from Flint, Michigan. You still don't get your voice heard in the government. That is a curse from God that you are
Hey,
here, not a blessing.
it's they
Go
still
ahead, brother.
marching saying Black Lives Matter.
There you
Ain't no
go.
Chinese marching. Ain't no
There you go.
Japanese. Ain't no other group of people marching. And I'm gonna hit y'all with something else now that you said that, Z. I, I'm I'm creating currency, and I could put anything I want on the currency. I'm the white man now, and I got this car. I'm there. I'm the architect. I'm sitting everything down. Why the hell would I put an Egyptian pyramid on there, then put an eyeball on top of the top and detach the top from there, and then write in Latin "Novus Ordo Seclorum"? It means New World Order or Annuit Coeptus, our enterprise. They telling you niggas to your face. We made money. This money exists. It has power because we enslaved you niggas like the Egyptians for years. We stripped you of everything. And this is where the power is. The American dollar has more power than any other currency on the face of the planet. And how did it happen? From enslaving you black people and keeping you stupid and keep you in religion and keeping you fighting each other and envying each other and hating each other, keeping the men disrespecting the woman, keeping them turning the woman into a man. You women now, you black women, you act like men. Your aggression, you're not feminine like the Bible says. You don't think like how God divine. You stepped out of your divine natural order, and they put that shit on the dollar to show their power. They became in power from all those years of free labor and free rule, and they remind you every time you pick it up. That's why there's a pyramid on there. It's symbolic to our enslavement and our destruction. And the eagle is their symbol. I mute my mic.
Yes, sir. So the curses, now jump down to verse 46.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
That pyramid on the back of that dollar bill ain't just because them white folks was Masons. God left you a sign of where you would be in the last days. He said, I would send you into Egypt, slavery, again with ships. He left clues, he left signs to show you where you was in the last days when it was time for you to wake up. That damn, I'm in the land of my slavery. My ancestors was brought here slaves, captive, and we ain't never went back to where we came from. You are still where your ancestors got dropped off at.
And Z, a Negro
Yes,
gonna
sir.
say, I ain't no slave. You're gonna say you're not a slave.
Well,
Okay?
they
Why
can't.
y'all still, a Negro's gonna say they're not a slave. Why y'all marching around saying Black Lives Matter? Why there's certain jobs you can't get? Why there's certain places you can't live? Why you get profiled by the way you grow your hair? If you got dreads or however, or if your lips or whatever, or your skin color, you still a slave. You don't have no power. You don't have no political power. You don't have no military. You got what they allow you to get to keep your ass quiet and docile. So a nigga get a house or a nigga go into entertainment or ball playing or whatever they get, they have to pay you to entertain them. They did that during the time of the Greeks. They put us in the arenas to fight each other, to battle. That's what sports was built on. You niggas fighting each other in the arenas for entertainment. You were the best athletes. You were the best source of entertainment. So a nigga think because he could rap or he got a wicked jump shot that now he's free. You still a controlled slave. We saw that with Kyrie Irving. He tried to talk the way we talking. They fined him. They stopped him from playing. Kanye West, they started messing with his money. He said, I can't be anti-Semitic. I'm from the real Jews. What they did, they made him lose $2 billion. What Nick
Right.
Cannon tried to explain that we the people of the book, what they did, pull his show, no more wild out. And what you niggas ain't do nothing to be like, yo, what's going on here? You niggas just sat back and let the white man do whatever he wanted to do. You're not free. You're controlled. You low level. You're just gonna live on this earth and die. You don't even know where your spirit. You don't even know what happens to you in death. You're clueless. All you care about is house, car, jewelry. The woman want a big butt, half her titties out, weaving her hair, long eyelashes. What you gonna do when you get old and it's time to die? And nobody loves you, and you don't know shit, and you ain't about shit, and you ain't got shit. All you have at the end of the day is God. I mute my
Mm,
mic. Go ahead, Z.
damn. That's right. Go back to 1 Kings 8:47, and I'll wrap it up here. 1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 47. So we understand we were sent into slavery on ships, and God said that that would be a sign of who you were in the last days. Now go back to 1 Kings chapter 8 verse 47, and look what God said through the mouth of Solomon.
The book of First Kings, chapter 8 and verse 47. Yet, if they shall bethink themselves in the land whither they were carried captives.
Start right there. So the word bethink, for those that may not know, it means remember. The word bethink means remember. So God is saying, yet, even in the land of their slavery, where they've been scattered and they're not in their homeland, if they remember who they are, like that movie Lion King with Simba and his daddy, he said, remember who you are. That's representation of us. He said, remember who you are. God is saying the same thing to us. Yet if they shall remember themselves in the land of their slavery, where they carry captives, what we got to do when we remember ourselves?
And repent and make supplication unto thee in the
Read
land
verse
of them.
47 again. Read verse 47 again. You went out on my end.
Yes, sir. Yet if they shall bethink themselves in the land whither they were carried captives, and repent.
God said you got to remember who you are and repent. That's why you see we on here up at 1 o'clock at night on the East Coast, and we so damn passionate of teaching you the Bible when we got to go to work tomorrow. A1's at work right now, and we passionate about it because the church ain't never told you who you were as a people so that you can repent in the eyes of God. They told you that we are all one in Christ Jesus. They told you that your race don't matter in the kingdom of God. And we believed it. And now when we ask you, well, who are you to God? Oh, I'm a child of God. Well, God kids got names. It's the 12 tribes of Israel. His kids was named Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, so on and so forth. And we ask our people who you are. You say it don't matter. I'm a child of God. That's why we so passionate and go so hard at Christianity, because you can never truly repent in the eyes of God until you remember who you are. Read verse 47 again.
Yet, if they shall bethink themselves, and the land whither they were carried captives, and repent,
Uh-huh.
and make supplication unto thee and the land of them that carried them captives, saying, We have sinned and have done perversely, we have committed wickedness.
That's what God wants you to say as an Israelite when you remember that you're an Israelite. So that means you can't be an African American and ask God to forgive you of your sins, because that's not his people. He never called you an African American. He didn't call you a damn West Indian, Jamaican, a thought, a lesbian, a binary, a damn Asiatic, African black man. He didn't call you that. He called you an Israelite. And he said, you got to remember who you are. And then this is what I want you to say to me. And then I will forgive you of your sins. Here's the proof of it. Let's keep reading. Keep reading that. Verse 48.
And so return unto thee with all their heart, and with all their soul, in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee toward their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name.
When you pray, God wants you to face your homeland. Negroes don't even know where they came from. You facing damn west, you facing the north, you facing the south, praying. You don't know. God said, face your homeland when you pray to me. Keep reading. Verse 49. Once you remember who you are, once you admit that you've sinned against God and been wickedness, broke his commandments, and then want to return unto God with all your heart, with all your, what does it say? With all your heart and with all your soul. Verse 49.
Then hear thou their prayer.
Stop right there. Brothers and sisters in that Christian church, you got a whole list of things you got to do before God will even hear your prayer. If you deny that you are the children of God, that you are the Israelites, God won't even hear your prayer. If you don't want to
Z,
keep the commandments of God, he won't
Z,
even hear your prayer.
Z, get
Go,
that in
go ahead,
John
sir.
chapter
A1.
9, John 9:31. Read that for them.
The book of John, chapter 9 and verse 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshipper of God, and doeth his will, him he heareth.
You hear that, Raphael? That's New Testament. So what I was saying about in the Old Testament, it didn't change in the New Testament. That God won't hear you if you're in the midst of sin. Now, Raphael, what is sin?
Uh, wages. Well, death is wages. For sin, God pays us with death when we sin.
Right? So, but what is it though? That's what you get paid for sin. What is it though?
Separation from God.
We on here. It's why we on here every. Make sure y'all subscribe to the room, man, because we are here trying to give you what the Christian pastors don't want you to have. We trying to give you what the church system that the white man set up don't want you to realize. God, the Bible says, and if you don't even know what sin is, well, who you been praying to? That's what you got to ask yourself. Who you been praying to if God don't hear sinners, and you don't even know what sin is according to the Bible? Who you been praying to?
It's
Go to
a
First John.
transgression against God.
Say it again, Raphael.
A transgression against God.
Let's read it. First John chapter 3. So everybody can know, because we all want God to hear our prayers. We don't want to be trusting and believing in God, and on that day that Christ returns, he tells us, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye worker of iniquity. That's the worst statement you could ever hear in your life. Not that your mama died, your daddy died, your wife died, your kids died. That ain't the worst thing you could ever hear. The worst thing that you can hear is on Judgment Day, I never knew you, Raphael. Depart from me, ye worker of iniquity. Oh shit, that scares me right now, boy. First John chapter 3, let's read verse 4.
The book of First John, chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
Raphael, what is sin? The transgression of what?
Of God's law.
That's the New Testament too. That's John, the disciple, right?
Could I?
He's telling you that sin is the breaking of God's law. Now we just read in the book of John where he said God heareth not sinners. So that means God don't hear people that break his what, Raphael?
His law.
There you go. We ain't teaching religion. Nah, we teaching history, historical facts of who you are today, your God-given nationality, the reason why our ancestors was brought into slavery, and we are still here with the white man's last name on us, while our brothers and sisters that are still on the west coast of Africa and scattered throughout Africa, while the white man carved up Africa and named it after them, and take their resources and sell it back to them, and they are still in what you call it under colonialism to this day, is because we have sinned against God, and God's not even hearing our prayers in the midst of willful sin. So I hope that clear up the question about you kind of confused on religion and the Bible. The Bible is not a religious book. It's a historical book. It's the rise, the fall, and the rise again of God's chosen people, which are you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, known as the Israelites in the Bible. So that's what we teaching. The laws of God, the faith in Jesus the Christ, and the obedience to God's laws, so the curses that we suffer can be lifted off of us, and we are found worthy of eternal life. Because a lot of people think that God is giving out free eternal life tickets. No, man, you got to work for that in your flesh. You cannot have a hot girl summer and then on Judgment Day, like, yes, Lord, I'm glad you came back. I'm going to really turn up in the kingdom now. I'm going to live forever. Oh, shit, where the martinis? Uh-oh, where the drink at? The little, yo, got it? Uh-oh. Hell no. That's not happening. Revelation 22. I'll leave you with this. Revelation 22, and I want you to read verse 13 down to 15.
Yes, sir. The book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
Raphael, who is that talking about that says that I'm Alpha and Omega, the first and the last? Who is that speaking?
Is that Jesus?
That's Jesus. Now look what he says in order to enter his kingdom that he's going to set up on the earth. Verse 14.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
Brother Raphael, what is the requirements to enter in through the pearly gates?
and receive eternal life. What is the requirements that Jesus just said in the last chapter of the Bible? What's the requirements?
Repent and trust in Him.
But it didn't just say that. What did it just say? Read verse 14 for him again.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city.
What is the requirements to get into the city of God when it comes down?
You're saying on in that verse is by doing His commandments we enter the city.
That's what it just said. And this is what chapter is this in, Caleb? Read it again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 14.
Now stop right there. Um, Raphael, do you have a Bible or your Bible app on the phone?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay. What chapter comes after Revelation 22?
I'd have to look it up. Hold on, give me a moment.
Yeah,
Unless
yeah. Look it
if
up.
y'all
Look
got
it
it
up.
there, y'all can do it. I try. I've been peeping y'all posting it, and y'all been legit.
Yeah. What is there any more chapters after Revelation 22?
Hold on, I'd have to look that up.
We got time. Sister Glow, you still on here listening?
Yes, I'm on here. No, it ain't no more chapters after that.
It ain't no more chapters, is it? That's the
Mm-mm.
end of the Bible. God's like, hey, before I wrap this thing up, I gotta make sure they know how to enter into the city of Jerusalem. In the
I just
beginning, I already told them. In the middle, I told them. In the New Testament, I told them. But just because I'm a just God, I'm gonna make sure they know before I end this thing. Read that one more again for the people that call themselves Christians and you are in that church and you go to church on Sundays, you grew up in the church and you believe that you are godly, you believe that you've been forgiven of your sins, you've been baptized, you've done all that you've got a personal relationship with Jesus and you don't even know how to get eternal life. Read that again for them.
Yes, sir. The book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 14.
Read verse 13 so they can know who it come from again.
Yes, sir. Verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city.
Sister Glow, what's the requirements to enter in to New Jerusalem?
to do His commandments.
There you go. So this ought to make you brothers and sisters question what the religious church has been teaching you all your life. They taught your mama, they taught your daddy, they taught your grandparents, they taught your great grandparents that you were not under the law of God anymore, and it's all faith, and you saved once you baptize and say the sinner's prayer. Well, why in the last damn chapter of the book of the Bible he made sure he told you you better keep these commandments? Read verse 15.
For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
So it's going to be a separation. Ain't everybody going into the kingdom of heaven? Whoremongers, sorcerers, murderers, idolaters, liars. You can sum that up into sinners.
Black people. Black people. Because that's what we've been trained to do. Let's keep it real. Don't y'all do that with your music, with your rappers. As soon as you get money, y'all in the club, all that shit. Who killed another of their own faster than anybody else? Black people. The number one murderers here. We'll murder each other for nothing. We talk about it. We move out the neighborhood. We move away from it. We come back. Our neighborhoods ain't safe because we just conditioned to murdering each other. When no without no remorse, no nothing, y'all just put up flowers where they died, or candles, or make rap songs about it. Y'all got there's a culture of drill music, code word kill music. Y'all brag about the guns that you have, and your Glock and your 9, and about shooting other. Everything that they just said is not getting the kingdom of heaven is the black mentality. I mute my mic.
Yes, sir. Read verse 16 so they know once again who told you that you got to keep the commandments of God for eternal life and live in New Jerusalem forever. Read verse 16.
Verse 16. I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but the Bible says that let God be true and every man a liar. The Bible says that we are to follow God and not man. I just read for myself, and you heard it with your own ears, that Jesus told you you have to keep the commandments in order to have eternal life. So that means that those scriptures that they have told you in the letters of Paul, where you're not under the law. Raphael, you ever heard this before? Sister Glow, Brother Dame, have you ever heard this? You're not under the law, but under grace.
Yep.
Yes.
So now, if they've told us that in Christianity, but then Jesus comes back at the end of the Bible and says, you better keep these commandments if you want eternal life. Well, then I know God wouldn't lie to me. He wouldn't tell me I ain't got to keep no laws in the middle of it. And then at the end say, no, you got to keep the laws. That's confusion. And we know God ain't about no confusion. So that must mean what Paul was talking about, you're not under the law, but under grace, must mean something different, because I know damn well Jesus the Christ, my Lord and Savior, is greater than Paul. So I got to figure out what Paul was talking about, because I know Paul ain't going against Jesus, because Jesus called Paul and knocked him off the horse in Damascus. Somebody ain't taught me what Paul was talking about. Now, if y'all brothers and sisters got time and y'all want us to go into that, we sure will, because that's what we're here for. Because we want you to enter into that gate and receive that eternal life, because your pastors ain't going to tell you that. They're not going to teach. Hell, your pastors don't even understand what it means. Let me show you what it means when he says we're not under the law, but under grace. Go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 10. Because look, check this out, y'all. If it says we're not under the law, but under grace, well, then you would have the question, okay, well, that means I can murder people. And your response would be like, no, God don't want you to kill. Well, that's a law. Well, that means I can steal now then too if I'm not under the law. No, God don't want us to steal. Well, Paul just said I'm not under the law. Paul ain't teaching you that you can do all those things because you under grace. That's how deceiving that we're not under law but under grace phrase is when it's not properly explained. It's confusion, because you know you can't do those things and God will still accept you. So what does it mean? Hebrews chapter 10. Let's read verse 1 and let's see what law you're under grace from that you don't have to do anymore. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 1.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 1. For the law
Stop
having
right
a
there. Now you see how remember what I just said, we're under we're not under the law but under grace. You notice how it didn't say we're not under the laws but under grace. It didn't say laws plural. Just like when we read here in Hebrews 10 and 1, it did not say laws. It said law singular. That means it's talking about one specific law. Read it again.
For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect.
Brother Raphael, Sister Glow, anybody can answer. What law is Paul was speaking about that could not make us perfect? What law is he talking about? Is he talking about the law of murder? Is he talking about the law of stealing? Is he talking about the law of committing adultery? Is he talking about the law of Sabbath day? Is he talking about the law of dress code? Is he talking about the dietary law? What law is he talking about, Raphael?
You
What
talking
was the word that was
sacrifice?
mentioned in there? Huh?
I need to hear the verse one more time. Are you talking
Read
about
it again for me.
making sacrifices?
Say it again.
Making sacrifices?
There you go. Paul ain't telling you because Paul wrote Hebrews. So Paul, when he said in Romans, you're not under the law, but under grace, what law is he talking about? Sacrifices. He ain't saying that you can dress how you want to, women, and have your titties hanging out and be around here sleeping with a bunch of men and say God know my damn heart. Brothers, he ain't telling you that you can damn wear a dress and you can shave off your beard and you can worship God on Sunday and you can damn celebrate Christmas and New Year's and you ain't gotta keep Passover, but celebrate Easter. Paul ain't told you that. You know who told you that? Your lying ass pastor that learned it from the white man in slavery. Read Hebrews 10 and 1 again.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 1. For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect.
Now jump down to verse 8 in that same chapter. Read that.
Verse 8 above, when he said, sacrifice and offering, and burnt offerings and offering for sin thou wouldest not, neither hadst pleasure therein, which are offered by the law.
Raphael, law is Christ talking about? What Paul talking about that you don't have to do?
Offer sacrifices for the
There
forgiveness.
you go, brother. That's the Bible. You don't have to bring a lamb to God no more. Christ was that lamb of God. He took it out the way. You
Right.
don't have to bring a bullock now. Does that mean now that I can worship God on Sunday, which is the first day of the week, and not the seventh day of the week? No, it don't mean that. God never changed the Sabbath day. He never changed the dress code for women. You know who changed the dress code in the Sabbath day? White man. And they set up the church and made you niggas go to it. The only difference is the white man don't have to sit up in the church and preach to you no more like he did in slave days. Now he gives the money to your pastor and they teach you the lies that the white man wants you to know, that you're not the children of God. You can wear what you want to, sister. You ain't got to marry him until you find the right one. Go ahead and sleep around, girl, and explore your options. Brother, sow your royal oats. Oh, you like man? God is love, and he loves you no matter what. Oh, you can worship God any day of the week. I worship God every day of the week. So you don't have to worship him on the seventh day. Oh, no, no, no. You can worship him when it's convenient for you on Sunday. After the sales, after you done went to the mall, after you went to the club, after you watch your college football, and even on Sunday when you come to church, We're gonna make you come early and we're gonna get you out of here before 1 o'clock so you can go home and watch them Dallas Cowboys.
Az,
Yes, sir.
I want to ask a question. Why would the white man allow all these religions and allow these black bastards to deceive us and get paid? Could you answer that, Raphael?
Repeat the question one more time.
Why would the white man allow all these religious denominations and allow the black church to teach black people lies and the pastors get paid?
Well, I don't know. Me personally, when
Very
you
simple, very simple, very simple, very simple. And this is going to be the most shocking information. As long as the white man keeps black people in sin, he wins. His rulership,
Bars.
his kingdom is dependent on how far away he pulls black people from God. So as long as he keeps you Negroes in sin, he wins. So he's not going to tell you to keep God's commandments. He's not going to tell you you are the Israelites the Bible speaks of. He's not going to tell you to love each other. He's not going to tell you how to prosper in this world. He's going to give you what you lust for. He's going to give you to allow you to keep the sins of the flesh, because I read to you guys earlier, there's a certain number of men that God is looking for to turn back to him, and then he's going to shut the white man down. He will no longer be able to rule. As long as he keeps a certain number of you black people in sin, he wins. And that's what's going on right now. And you people, he's got this machine so well oiled that he could sit back and let dumb black pastors in the pulpit teach, make them millionaires and teach you lies. And you people will fight us and defend them and defend the lies. There's nowhere in the Bible that says that there's a white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes named Jesus. The Bible, in fact, says that Christ is so dark it looked like he was burned in a furnace with hair of wool. We tell black people that, they say, well, color don't matter. Okay, it mattered to them because when they took control of the Bible, they put their image up. But now you tell a black person, well, color don't matter. It don't matter what color Jesus is. Okay, so what he did is working flawlessly. He got you Negroes evil, so evil that you're protecting his kingdom, and you will die for his kingdom and attack the men that God set up to deliver you. That's why they screamed out for Christ, crucify him. Let his blood be upon us and our children. And that's what you Negroes are doing today. That's why Christ said, whoever follows him shall be hated. I mute my mic.
I'm pretty sorry. I'm gonna give you this last scripture, brothers. Then we'll take questions from anybody that may have some questions. Let me give you this last scripture just to back up that we've been taught lies in the Christian church about who we are as a people, first and foremost, and what God requires of us, and the words of Jesus the Christ when it comes to salvation, because they have took scriptures and twisted them because black people don't read. If you look up and do the statistics online, guess who has the most screen time logged on their phones out of all races? Black people. Because we don't read, but we'll watch videos and we'll swipe with TikTok and we'll post pictures on Instagram and we'll click like on Facebook, but we will never just sit down and read our book. Read Matthew chapter 5, and I want you to read 17 on down. Now listen to this, brothers and sisters. Check out what Jesus said while he was on the earth and left for us to remember in the last days. Matthew 5, verse 17 on down.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Now, Jesus said, "Don't you think I came to destroy the law?" Well, why is the Christian church built on you're not under the law? Their whole doctrine and foundation is built on we are not under the law of God, but under grace. How can you have a whole religion built around that when your Savior said, "I did not come to destroy the law or the prophets, but I came to fulfill"? Now, a lot of people stop at verse 17 and say, "He came to fulfill the law." You don't even know what that means. You just say it because you've heard it in church. We're going to read the very next verse to show you that he was not talking about doing away with the laws. Verse 18.
Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
Brother Raphael, when you look up into the skies, don't you see a heaven? When you go outside to go to work, ain't you standing on the earth?
Yeah,
So if that be true, then that means that we still have to keep what according to Jesus?
you're saying the law.
I'm not saying it. Don't put it on me. That's what people like to do. I'm just a messenger. God just gave me this understanding. Freely I have received, and freely I shall give away. I didn't say that. Jesus Christ, the black Messiah, said it. Read verse 17 again.
Verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the
Stop
prophet.
right there. Verse 18 now.
Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
So if heaven and earth is still here, that means you have to keep what according to Jesus the Christ.
The law.
Now read verse 19. For anybody that would say different, Jesus addressed that. Verse 19.
Team. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so.
Stop right there. If you break the smallest commandment and then you turn around and teach man to break the commandments along with you, who does that? Christian church, Christian pastors. They break the commandments. As we read earlier, Raphael, what holy day did the disciples keep? Was it Passover or Easter?
Passover.
So that means that your pastor is teaching you to break the law concerning Passover. Verse 19 again.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, he shall teach, and shall teach men so. He shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
So that makes you think you getting in. Keep reading.
But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Now watch this. We're gonna address the least part to let you know that that means you will not enter the kingdom if you break the commandments. Verse 20.
Verse 20. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Now I ask you this, brother Raphael. Who was Jesus most angry at in the scriptures all the time? Who was he arguing with all the time?
The Pharisees.
Why was he arguing with the Pharisees? Watch this. Go to Matthew chapter 23. Because remember, we just read, Christ said, if your righteousness does not exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Why would he use the Pharisees as an example that is your barometer? If you do what they do, you won't get in. Matthew 23, verse 1 through 3.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23, and verse 1. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
Uh-huh.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
Read that part again. They what?
They say and do not.
Raphael.
Yes,
So the
sir.
scribes and the Pharisees, they taught the law of God, but they didn't what?
I'm sorry because something happened here as he was reading, but they taught the law. They weren't living up to the law, were they?
There you go. So Christ said, if you don't live the law of God, teach it and actually do it, you cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. That's out of your own Messiah's mouth. You cannot enter in. You're wasting your time in Christian churches, brothers and sisters. You're wasting your time in Islam because Christ was not a damn Muslim. He was an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. He didn't know nothing about no rock, no throwing no rock, no Hajj, none of that. He didn't
I got a
that
question.
that's not how you get in. Uh okay, who's that? Ultimate Truth. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Let me check. Brother Dame. Oh, I hope it's a brother. Dame Smalls. I don't know if you're there or not. If you're not there, we're going with Ultimate. So, okay, there you go. Dame, did you have any questions or any thoughts on the topic that we talking about or the scriptures we've been going over?
Just observant, you know what I'm saying? Just seem like somebody deleting my messages in the chat though.
I,
Can't
Let
hear
me
I
me,
hear
can.
him.
brother.
No, we can't hear you, man.
Oh, sorry.
I
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit. Go ahead.
All right, I'm just listening. I'm just listening,
Okay,
checking. You know what I'm saying? Just
I just
cool.
have a question about mine.
Okay, so real quick, Dame, you've been following along with the scriptures we've been going over.
yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah, I be learning a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, okay. All right, so let us know if you got questions what we going over. Okay, Raphael, real quick, because Ultimate's next. Raphael, what was you gonna have a question on?
What do you make out of Romans 2:28, 2:29?
Okay, so is that dealing with what we've been going over?
Kinda, yeah. It's talking
Okay,
the law and
okay, let's go to it. Let's go to it. That's what we're here for, to answer the questions of the people. Romans chapter 2. Let's read verse 28 and 29 for the brother.
Yes, sir. The book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse 28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly. And circumcision is that of the heart, and the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God.
Okay. I don't know, brother Matt, Dion, I didn't know if y'all was on. Did y'all want to touch that or what? A1, did you want to touch it at all?
Amen.
Okay, okay. I'll go ahead and grab it. So and brother Raphael, so you can understand. Who was who was Paul talking to in those two verses that he would say his praise is not of man but of God? Who you think he's talking to? You ain't got to know exactly, but who you think he's talking to for him to say that whose praise is not of man but of God?
that's a tough. That's a letter to the Roman Church, though, right?
To the people that were in Rome, and they had a church, but who is he talking to specifically about that? Because he wrote this to them in Rome. So who is he talking about whose praise is not of man but of God?
Jews.
Okay, let's find out who he's talking to. Let's go back to the book of Matthew. Check this out. The book of Matthew, chapter 23
and I want you to read verse 1, and I want you to keep reading down. Watch this.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23, and verse 1. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you, observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
Uh-huh.
For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves would not move them with one of their fingers.
Now pay attention to this verse, Raphael. Verse 5.
Verse 5. But all their works they do for to be seen of men.
Stop right there. Raphael, what did the Pharisees, why did they do their works? To be seen of who?
Seen of men.
And what did they love to get when they was seen of man? They got what? What did Paul say? Who's what? In the bottom of verse 29. What does it say, Raphael? You called it, so what does it say?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to read it. It sometimes I need to hear a verse. Like,
Okay. Whose praise did they want?
I mean, they wanted to be seen by other men. They wanted to pray.
Okay. They wanted the praise of man, right?
Right.
Verse 5 again in Matthew 23.
Verse 5. But all their works they do for to be seen of men.
Keep reading.
They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments,
Keep reading.
and love the uppermost rooms at feast, and the chief seats in the synagogues.
Hey, when you go sit up in the front of any place in front of a bunch of people, um, are you trying to hide yourself or you trying to be seen, Raphael?
Oh, you trying to display yourself?
Oh, okay. So let's see. The Pharisees love to sit up in the front of the room and have the best seats in the synagogues. Keep reading, verse 7.
Verse 7. And greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi.
Stop right there. Go back to Romans chapter 2 and let's read verse 29 again.
The book of Romans, chapter 2, and verse 29. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God.
Who is Paul speaking to in Romans 2 that love to be praised by man, but not the praise of God?
Uh, it, from what I understand, it would be people who aren't true Jews.
Who did we just read about that loved the praise of man and the chief seats and to be seen of man? Who did we just read about?
The Pharisees.
Okay, what was the Pharisees?
They were Jews.
Mm, that makes perfect sense. Now let's go into Romans chapter 2 and let's see if we can correlate what we read in Matthew 23. They taught the law, but they didn't do the law. They loved to be seen of man, but they wasn't right with God. They like to sit in the front seat so everybody could see them and call them rabbi. Let's see if we can find that same thing in Romans 2 so we can see who is talking about he's not a Jew that's outwardly but inwardly. Go back to Romans chapter 2 and let's read verse 17.
The book of Romans, chapter 2, and verse 17. Behold, thou art called a Jew, and rested in the law, and makest thy boast of God.
Now, what did the Pharisees teach and not do, Raphael?
They didn't do God's law.
Okay, read verse 17 again.
Behold, thou art called a Jew, and restest in the law, and makest thy boast of God,
Keep reading.
and knowest his will, and approvest the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law,
They was instructed out of the law, just like the Pharisees, right? Keep reading.
and art confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind, a light of them which are in darkness, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law.
And the truth in the what?
And the truth in the law.
The Pharisees taught what, Raphael?
The truth of the law.
But they didn't do the truth of what?
They didn't do the law. They didn't keep the law.
Verse 21, keep reading.
Thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that preachest a man should not steal, dost thou steal?
Who does that sound like, Raphael, that Paul is talking to in this Romans chapter 2?
Uh, I'm not sure. That's why I brought.
Hold on, Raphael, though, you just got to think. He said, you teach you shouldn't steal, but do you steal? What did the Pharisees do?
Yeah, they taught the law, but they didn't keep it.
Oh, there you go. Let's keep reading to see if Paul gives us more detail. Verse 22.
Verse 22. Thou that sayest a man should not commit adultery.
Raphael, who was teaching thou should not commit adultery?
Yeah, the Pharisees.
Okay, keep reading.
Dost thou commit adultery?
Who was committing adultery though, Raphael?
Yeah, the Pharisees.
So now let's bring it all together. Jump back down to verse 28.
Verse 28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly.
Stop right there. So the Pharisees, they looked the part, right? How do we know they looked the part? Go back to Matthew 23, and I want you to read verse 5. How did they look like Jews? Read verse 5.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23, and verse 5. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments.
They enlarged the what?
The borders of their garments.
Who had stuff on the borders of their garments, Raphael? What was the Jews' dress code?
Yeah,
Which is ours. What is it?
yeah. They put borders on their garments.
There you go. So outwardly, they looked righteous, just like your pastors do, just like your deaconess do, just like all y'all that went to church. You look righteous, but inwardly, you was full of dead man's bones. Here's the proof. Matthew chapter 25, once again, and I want you to read let me find it here. Verse 27 and 28. Matthew chapter 23 and read verse 27 and 28. Look at this. Now this is going to go with Romans 2 and 28, and then you tell me who Paul is speaking to specifically in Romans 2. This is going to bring it home, nail in the coffin. Matthew 23, verse 27, 28.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23, and verse 27.
I got precept this one. The Lord just gave this to me. Shit. All praises. Read that.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye are like unto whited sepulchres,
That's grave. That's gravestones. A sepulcher is a gravestone. Go ahead.
which indeed appear beautiful outward.
They what?
Appear beautiful outward,
They appear beautiful outward. Keep reading.
but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness.
Now Romans 2:28 says, "For he is not a Jew, which is one what outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly." Now read verse 28.
Verse 28. Even so ye also outwardly appear
Hold on, read that.
righteous.
Read that again.
Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men,
Uh-huh.
but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity.
Go back to Romans chapter 2, verse 28.
And you tell me who this is talking about, Raphael, because Christ said, you scribes and Pharisees, outwardly you appear righteous, but inwardly you're full of dead man's bones and hypocrisy and sin. Read Romans 2:28 and
The,
29 for him.
the book of Romans, chapter 2, and verse 28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly. And circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God.
Raphael, who is Paul describing in verse 28 and 29?
Um, from the way you laid it out, I could see how you could make the connection to the Pharisees.
But you know what that's called, Raphael?
What?
That's called precept upon precept. Let's get that for him so he understands what that is. Because a lot of people say, oh man, you just twisted scripture, you going here, you going there, you putting them together, and it sound damn good. It sound damn right. But you jumping all around. Get that for him in Isaiah.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, and verse 10. For, pre-
Listen to this, Raphael. Go ahead.
for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, and there a little.
Here a little and there a little. Matthew a little bit and Romans a little bit if you're going to describe who is a Jew outwardly but not inwardly. That's why I went to both of those to compare and contrast so you can come to the understanding, damn, that's talking about the same people. Outwardly they look good. Inwardly they're full of dead man's bones. Oh, they taught the law just like the Pharisees, but they was breaking the law just like the Pharisees said. Only thing you read about in Romans chapter 2, verse 28, Paul never mentioned the name of who he was talking about because what did Paul want you to do on your own? What did God want you to do? 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Why did Paul not make it so plain that you can like, damn, he said the word right there. Why did Paul do that? Why did God tell Paul, don't put that in there? Because he wanted you to do this. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15.
The book of Second Timothy, chapter 2, and verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto God.
Hold on. What did God want you to do?
Study to show thyself approved unto God.
God wants you to study. When you go to these churches and you just sit there and you listen to the damn pastor and you don't read your Bible and all you know is the damn hymn songs and this little light of mine and Jesus my savior and oh how I love the name of Jesus and melodies from heaven and you don't know shit about God because you ain't never studied to prove yourself to God. So when you take scriptures that you've heard in Christianity to justify where you are in your religious walk, you don't know what they mean because you have never studied to prove yourself to God that you're worthy of his wisdom to go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. We that know we Israel, our teachers, they teach us this, and we have to still study it for ourselves so we can understand it. They teach us, and what freely has been given to them, they freely give to us, and we freely give it to whoever we can teach. And you won't understand those things until you study to show yourself approved to God. I'll let you talk right after this, Raphael. Finish out verse 15, and look how it says the same thing that Isaiah 28 said.
Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
So, Raphael, you understand why I went from Romans to Matthew? I had to do what? Read that bottom part again. I had to rightly what?
Rightly dividing the word of truth.
I had to rightly divide the word so you can understand that Paul When he says he's not a Jew, which is one outwardly, he's talking about the Pharisees that taught the law, but they didn't actually do the law. That ain't talking about fake whoever, somebody pretending to be a Jew. That's not what they're talking about. He talking about Jews that look like it on the outside, but on the inside, they didn't do nothing God said. Much like your Christian church today.
Can I ask a question?
Uh yeah, go ahead, brother Dane.
Okay,
Right,
I
I
was just
guess I
trying to.
was my third.
Uh,
Bye. I knew you were just trying to avoid me. Talk,
Oh, that's right, brother.
talk,
True.
keep talking. That's fine.
Uh, all right. Hold on, Dame. Let me see what Ultimate Truth got to say. Go
Well,
ahead, man. You got it.
I asked first. You went and asked others if they got questions. When I said I
Hey,
have a question,
Ultimate Truth. Shut
okay,
up.
I'm
I'm
bye,
giving
giving you the
him
chance
one
right
bro.
mic,
now.
man.
Run, bro.
I'm giving you the chance right. Well, damn, they dropped him. All
Well,
right.
no, I just want to say, yo, thank you for taking the time to, to talk with me. And I think Ultimate's tripping. I was talking before he was talking, and you were just, you were helping me out. So, anyways,
Yeah.
thank you for taking the
No
time.
problem, brother. Hey, Raphael, I implore you, man. That email that is at the top, biblicalsmoke@gmail.com. Email us, and we can send you the beginner's booklet that we got as an organization, and we'll also send you our Sabbath day schedule so you can watch live classes and learn that the angels and God ain't white like you got in your profile picture. The angels are black, man. Uh, Dame, go ahead, man.
Shalom.
Okay, thank you. I was just
Oh,
wondering how the
oh,
Bible
oh,
is.
hold on, sister. It's Sister Alexis. Okay. Okay. Hold on, Dame.
Hey, bro, I got a question too.
I'm
Okay.
saying, y'all see this light, man? Why y'all keep trying to interrupt and cut me off, though? I'm
Here
just
we
trying to
go.
say something.
No, hold on. Go ahead, Alexis, real quick. What's your question,
Hello.
Alexis? Yeah. What's your question?
Well, if he can't wait, he could go ahead and go.
Okay. All right, Dame. She gonna let you go.
No, I just want to see if any more dead spirited people want to go before me, though, because I ain't really talking about nothing, though. So y'all go ahead and interrupt. I'm just.
Dame. Come on, man. You can't say that.
Oh, for sure.
Everybody
Okay,
is
I'm
who
just
they
talking.
are.
I'm just feisty with the spirit, though. I follow y'all. I'm just with the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's like when people be playing around, just don't got nothing to say. I'm just want to ask about the law because the Bible talk about the law. So I'm just trying to figure out like it's a bunch of laws. Like why don't talk about common law, like the laws that these white people using against the black people don't know about though. Trust
Um.
law, tax law.
Well.
That's what the Bible is, a book like that. It's, I'm saying that's what it's about though. It's about estate taxes and stuff like that. So that's the advantage that white people got over black people though. So I'm trying to
Well.
figure out.
Well. To dissect what you're saying, that's not the advantage that white people got over black people. The advantage that they got is that they keep us in sin.
But I'm
And
saying it's but you even said that the people, you know, you want to hide something for black people, you put it in the book. Black
right.
people don't like to read. Black people
Yeah.
don't like to read. So if black people knew common law, like you know how to punish white people when they violate you and stuff though.
That's why I'm saying that's
The
not the
Bible don't teach
advantage
that
that they
though.
got.
The Bible, I
Hold
mean, it's
on,
probably in the
listen.
Bible. Okay.
Dame. Listen, I'm answering your question. That's not the advantage that they got over us because there's nothing that you could do that would overtake your enemies until you stop sinning as a
I mean,
nation.
I understand that though, but as a nation, I feel like people need to know the law. The Bible speaks of the law heavily though. So why not equip yourself with common law? Why not equip yourself with a
Well,
state
brother
law? I'm
Dame,
just saying, it
what
speaks of law
law?
heavily. It
Dame,
speaks
what
of law heavily.
law does it speak of heavily? What
I mean,
law?
I'm just saying it speaks of law. Like, you know
Yeah,
how the
what
law,
law though?
the
What
word,
law?
I'm just talking about the word, the law. Like,
I
I
know,
mean,
but
like the
what
law.
law is it speaking of heavily? Is it speaking of
I
this
guess
white
it
man?
depends on the situation. It might be trust law. It might be
Listen,
common law.
listen,
Because
listen.
hold on, can I explain? I mean, I'm
No,
just
I'm
saying
great.
because in
I'm
some
asking you a
situations,
question.
I'm asking you a question.
Right.
Is the Bible heavily speaking about white man's common law or God law?
Oh no, it's God's law. I'm just talking
That's
about
right.
like how they use it against the people though. Like, I'm
Well, how
talking
you
about
gonna
how
use it?
the Bible. I'm saying, what's wrong with black people knowing common law though?
Because it ain't gonna
That's
help
what I'm
you.
saying.
Is
How it's
that
not
why
gonna
we
help
went?
you if that's
Check this out,
I'm
Dame.
just
The
saying.
question is that the reason why God put this white man over us and enslaved us? Is because of common law?
I mean, I feel like black people fail because they is how they is now though. They arrogant, they don't listen, and they don't follow the law. So it's more than one law. So I'm just saying it's laws of the land, like
Mhm.
with commerce law. So white people use stuff like commerce law. Black people don't really know too much about that. So I'm just talking about the Bible emphasizes the law. So
Right.
I'm just talking about the law of the land, the law of the water. I'm just saying, like, black people don't know the law. That's why they get punished, though,
Hey,
punished by
let me say,
God.
hey, it ain't.
Watch this.
Hey, it's about not. It's coming up from underneath them. You see, you following their laws, sir. You see,
Watch this. Go to
The
Deuteronomy.
law is God's, though. The law is
Hold on.
God's, though.
Hold on, Dame.
you
Dame. Listen up. Listen
following
up.
the laws.
Brother Eliakim. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. I'm gonna show you something. I want you to read verse 15. And let's see if the common law, the water law, the land law, if any of that would change what God has done to us. Let's read it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So God said he will place curses upon us for not keeping the commandments. Now, what are some of those curses? Go over to verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger,
Food,
and in thirst,
water,
and in nakedness,
clothes,
and in want of all things.
anything that you can imagine. You would have to serve your enemies for it because you have broken the commandments of God. Anything. Keep reading.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
He would put chains on your neck. That's how you know it's talking about us. So to overcome that oppression that you're under, it would not come from knowing the laws of the land, because the white man, he owns the land because you're a slave. The white man owns the water because you're a slave. The white man owns the food because you're a slave. So to take laws to the white man that is a ruler over you, that God put him over you, it would never do you any good. Here's the proof. Jump back a few chapters and let's read Deuteronomy chapter 28 and let's read verse 33. Let's check this out about the law of the land. Let's read it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 33. The fruit of thy land,
Stop. The what?
the fruit of thy land,
Common law, land, land of the law, law of the land. The fruit of the land. Keep reading.
and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
That's the white man. And what would happen when he took this land from us and ate up all the fruits of the land and then made laws based on the land? Read on.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
God been said, man, ain't none of that stuff great work for you, buddy. He don't give a damn what law you know. You have sinned against your God, and God has placed him over you. And he has set, the white man has set up laws that make you think you've got a chance. And all you do is rebel against God when you put those over repentance and obeying, thus saith the Lord. That's not your plight. Your plight here in America is not to prosper, not to get the land back.
This ain't even your damn land. Why you want the land? This ain't this ain't our homeland. You're trying to make your slavery comfortable. You're not supposed to be comfortable here. God wants you to be oppressed. He wants you to be uncomfortable so that you would do what? You would turn from your wicked ways and say, God, I done tried everything. I tried the law of the land. They came and took it from me. Hell, I bought land. I bought a house and they made me pay taxes. I missed the taxes. They came and took the house from me. I got all the education that I ever wanted. I got a master's degree and they still call me a nigga. I'm famous. I got all the money in the world. And they still tell me to shut up and dribble.
See, I got a scripture,
Yes, sir. Go ahead, one.
Ecclesiastes 5 verse 8.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5 and verse 8.
Because I know how the brother feels, but this is what God says concerning how you feel.
If thou seest the oppression of the poor,
How
and,
are they oppressing us? Every which way you could think of. In the workforce, in the school system, on the streets, by law enforcement. Read on.
and violent perverting of judgment and justice in the province,
Who perverts judgment and justice and things are not fair? The people who rule over us. Read on.
marvel not at the matter,
Don't be amazed. Don't bug out. Don't think, what are we going to do about this? Read on.
for he that is higher than the highest regardeth.
God is watching. God knows that these conditions exist. So Z is not dismissing you. We understand where you're coming from to think if we know the law system, we could change things. But he that is higher than the highest, which is God, he's aware of everything they're doing. And that's why he says, vengeance is mine. He's going to get them and they're going to pay for everything they did wrong. So what you got to do while it look like they're getting away with things, you just sit back because he that is higher than the highest regarded, and he going to get them in the end. That's what judgment day is. That's what the last book of the Bible is. This place, everything that they did evil, they're going to pay for it. You're not going to overturn the evil that they did because you studied them and you figured out the politics they're playing, and you could play with them. They're in control now. Job 9:24, real quick. This is what God says. You're not going to fight over people that have this position right now and win because they design things in their favor. The game is rigged. Job 9:24.
Book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
God temporarily allowed them to take control of this earth. Read on.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
We're the true judges. We judge with God's law, not by their law. Their law is bullshit. Their criminal, penal system, everything is all bullshit. That's why we can't even understand it. It's in Latin. It's big ass words that we don't even understand. It's bullshit. They covered the true judges and they control the earth, but it's temporary. God gonna shut them down. So that's why we teaching the people in the room, follow God's hand, and then you'll understand his plan. God gonna destroy that man. I'll mute my mic.
Bars. So now look at this. Are we telling people, hey man, just give up and wait and just sit there and just nah, we ain't telling you that because God didn't tell us to do that in the land of our captivities. What we telling you is that that's not the way out of our oppression as a nation. Here's the proof of it. Give me that in Jeremiah chapter 29, and I want you to read verse 4 down to 6. Look what God says.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29 and verse 4. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon.
That's what God calls the Bible. He calls America in the Bible. He calls this place Babylon the Great. That's what America's name is in the Bible. We've been carried to this place. Now watch what he tells you to do. Verse 5.
Build ye houses,
To build a house, you need a job. To build a house, you need some land to do it on. If you're gonna build a house, to buy a house, you need the land to build on, right? So we're not telling you don't get no land and don't buy no houses and don't do better for yourself and just be a poor old Negro shucking and jiving. We ain't telling you that. 5 again.
Build ye houses, and dwell in them, and plant gardens, and eat the fruit of them.
Keep reading.
Take ye wives, and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished.
God says, take houses, build, plant, do all of that stuff that you hear. Do well for yourself. Read verse 7.
Verse 7. And seek the peace of the city, whither I have caused you to be carried away captives.
That's why you know that this ain't no revolutionary of taking up guns and going out and shooting people and trying to overthrow the government like the white man did. God says, seek the peace of the city that you in. Don't be a troublemaker in the land of your captivity, because you're there on punishment. Keep reading.
And pray unto the Lord for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace.
Now check this out. Jump over to verse 11 on down.
Verse 11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end.
When you repent as the Israelites that you are, God said, I know the thought that I think towards you. I want you to have peace. I don't want evil to happen to you. You've got an expected end of your captivity of where you are at. Keep reading.
Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you.
Uh-huh.
And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart.
With all your what?
With all your heart.
That means all your mind. The heart is the mind in the Bible. He said, you're going to find me when you seek for me, not when you trying to seek the laws of the land and prosper here and get over and think this is the way out, that the nation of your people is going to come up out of captivity. No, that's not it. When you seek him with all your mind, when you focused on like, God, show me the truth. Tell me what I must do in order to receive eternal life as the Israelites that we blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are. Verse 14.
And I will be found of you, saith the Lord. And I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations.
Stop right there. This is how you know that this is speaking about us in the end, because Jeremiah only went into captivity. The Israelites went into captivity into Babylon, which is modern day Iraq. He said, I will gather you from all the nations. This is talking about the end times. Keep reading.
And from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Lord.
Uh-huh.
And I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive.
He said, I'm going to bring you where?
And I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive.
So in verse 4 and 5, he told you to build houses and plant gardens in the city of your captivity. But in verse 14, he says, I'm taking you back to where you come from. So what does that mean, Brother Dame? That the stuff, the monetary stuff that you can get here is only temporary, and our faith ain't in that. Our faith is
Right,
in repenting, keeping the
right.
commandments, and the faith in Jesus the Christ, and waiting on the bombs to drop and be delivered from this place. So for you to say, oh, I'm gonna take this law and I'm gonna use it against him and I'm gonna one up on him, that means
No, you putting words in
you're
my
not,
mouth though.
hold
You
on,
put words in
dang,
my
dang,
mouth. I didn't say that.
let me finish, dang. For you to say, hey, let's do this law of the land, let's do this law here, the common law and all this, that means you're trying to one up your oppressor in the land of your captivity.